Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Coming to you almost live from the Oceanfront Bar and Grill in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, it's the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 125. That should be marked by something. It's March 20th, and I'm your host, Bill. Hey, don't order the fish sticks, Castello, and with me today,
all the way from the Iron Rack Enclave, is Joshua, some like it moist, Alt.
I'll bet we gave away what we're talking about.
Yeah, today's Moisty Boy Day.
Yipper, Idneth Deepkin, all day, yeah, they're good. We're delayed a week again. I hate to say it, but there's a war on.
I hadn't heard.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, the DOD it's strange in how we're reacting to this, because it's not our war, it's someone else's war, but, we have to be posturing in a certain way. I don't envy the decision makers in Washington right now, because there's so many alternatives and almost all of them are bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just have to be ready for any eventuality. And in missile defense where I work, it's weird. It's weird.
Well, go Wolverines.
Yes. Red Dawn, man. Just let the Cubans come. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, they probably wouldn't do that, would they? For those of you that don't know the reference, there's a movie called Red Dawn with some mostly dead stars now. It's a really good movie if you're an 80s kid. So
they remade it, too.
Yeah, that was a terrible remake, though.
The movie's terrible, too.
Oh, my God.
But it's sort of like that 80s kitsch,
Yeah.
You're just like, when you go back and watch it, just because, like, man, this is horribly cheesy, and I'm here for it.
It's so bad. So bad. But it's one of those early Patrick Swayze movies, and it was a vehicle, to get him out in front of the camera. This is pre-Ghost Patrick Swayze, more like the Roadhouse Patrick Swayze.
Oh, Roadhouse is so bad.
Oh, God, it's
so bad. I mean, frankly, so's Ghost, but...
Nah, Ghost was pretty good.
I don't know, man.
He at least extended his ability a little bit.
It's only because they didn't have him fighting dudes the whole time.
Oh, my God, we got way off track.
Okay, yeah, anyway.
Okay, so in today's show, we're going to have to talk about the new Balance War scroll that came out.
Yeah, obviously.
Because that's big. And we're gonna devote some time to the White Dwarf and the Khorne changes that are in there, because yay, Khorne gets to play.
Khorne gets a little bit of play for sure.
Yeah, and we'll cover it when we get there, but there's not enough changes to warrant the fact that they should be getting a book soon. But this will help them get over that hump. In creation, we're going to talk a little bit about Army Painter speed paints, and Josh is going to go on a freaking tear about all the stuff he's done, in contrast to the fact that I painted one model.
Well, someone's got to make up for you, Bill.
I hear you. And then in lore, we're going to dive into the Idneth Deepkin, both the Path to Glory and the match play sections. There's a lot to digest here, and it's a really good book.
Yeah, folks, so strap that anchor to your ankle and throw it into the water, because we're going all the way to the bottom on this one. I don't know if we'll be able to get fully into the War Scrolls, but because we got to talk about Path to Glory.
Yeah.
We'll get in there, get our thoughts, and yeah, I think it's going to be a fun one today.
Yeah, so I think we're going to just move right into New Dawn.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in New Dawn that we have to talk about.
Yeah, we kind of filled that one up with a lot of stuff, so...
Yeah, you'd almost think it was the lore section. We'll call it pre-lore.
Pre-lore.
As everyone knows, the new Battle Scroll update came out. A lot of stuff we'll be talking about. A lot of people have just immediately popped on and just talked about immediately.
Yeah.
Gut level reactions.
Yeah.
We definitely have sat with it a little bit more in terms of what we'll be able to talk about here. I know Bill has some emotions about this one. So
I agree with the intent. So basically what they've done is they've made things called priority targets and prime hunters. Priority targets, and they give a list for each one of the grand orders except death. And these are the units that are targets. And basically, if you kill one of these targets, you get one additional victory point. And if the unit was reinforced, you get one per reinforcement that was put on it. So it's basically they're putting a bounty on certain models. And then you have prime hunters, which if a prime hunter kills a priority target, you get one additional victory point. So actually we're talking about the ability to add up some VPs here. And if you look at like the Grand Alliance Order list of priority targets, it's everything you thought it would be. It's Fulminators. It's the Storm Drakes. It's Raptors with long strikes. It's Huracan, the Spirit of the Wind, Severeth, Lord of the Seventh Wind, Bloodstalkers, Marathi Kane, the Bastillodon with a solar engine, and the Salamander Hunting Pack. These are things that are bugaboos in the meta right now. And so they're not saying, hey, don't take those or you can't take them. You just have to be aware that when you have these, you're giving up some additional victory points. Yeah. Potentially. And what I thought was funny in Order, the only prime hunters are Sylvaneth.
Yeah, they are.
Which is so, I mean, I understand Sylvaneth are in a weird place right now.
Yep.
A very strange place. I think if you're trying to play Sylvaneth right now, you probably are carrying like 3 books, 17 different White Dwarf articles just to be updated and current.
Just to be able to play your trees.
Yeah, I mean, literally just to play your forests, you have to go through 3 different stories. And if you pick the wrong one and you kind of plan around that and someone's like, no, this one's the new current hotness. You're like, poop.
Sylvaneth do have some tools. Alariel still needs a ward save.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let's just name everything off so that way we can just make sure that we're good to go. So Grand Alliance Chaos, priority targets are Be'lakor, Kairos Fate Weaver, Horrors of Tzeentch, only if the unit included any pinks.
Yeah.
And then Slave to Darkness, Demon Prince with the Mark of Khorne, Prime Hunters are Hedonites of Slaanesh and Skaven.
Yep.
Then Grand Alliance Destruction, the priority targets are Mega Boss on Maw Crusher, and then every single Mega Gargant with exclusion of mercenaries. So if you're like Night Haunt taking, your
Krog
Death Giant
or something like that, you're not gonna penalized.
The Prime Hunters there are Gloomspite Gets and Auric War Clans with the Bone Splitters. Then Grand Alliance Death has no priority targets.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that Death is really balanced, right?
Yeah, okay.
Prime Hunters are Night Haunt and Ossiarch Bone Reapers. So, I mean, I really get the spirit of what this is trying to do.
Yeah.
And how so many people are reacting to this. And there was a good chat going on in the Discord about this. But so many people were like, well, it's not going to make the Prime Hunters be able to kill any better. And I was like, no. It's going to make it so that way, if you're building an army, you need to consider you'll be giving up additional victory points based on how you construct it, and that this is likely going to probably change how some list construction is done. And what we have to look at here is what's not on the page, right? So there's a whole bunch of Lumineth that's not there.
Yeah.
So there's Lumineth that's really strong. If you take 50 Sentinels, right? And someone's like, oh, I'm taking Mega Gargants. You're like, thanks for all the free points.
Yeah, thank you for the points. Yeah. Appreciate that. And one thing, there's a reward table. Most of those units are all worth 1. The Giants are worth 2 each.
Except for the War Stomper.
Yeah, War Stomper I guess he's a PUD.
He's still taken, and he's still tough to take down, but he's not as good as the other 2 are.
My initial gut reaction, very initial, reading this, was like, oh God, let's sell more models. And then, as you read more and more into it, you're like, no, actually, what this is going to try to do is not just change list building, but change your playstyle a little bit. You're going to throw those long strike crossbowmen down on the table. The basic theme right now is throw them on the table and let them defend themselves.
Yeah.
They will be fine. Don't worry about it. Now you're going to think about maybe hanging back with some Vindicators or some Liberators or something to keep them from dying, because you're going to give up more points when they die. So it may change your playstyle a little bit. You may not be as gutsy with your laser dinosaur.
Yeah.
So it's just you have to think a little bit differently now that these things are actually throwing out, honestly, up to 4 victory points. That's a battle tactic.
There's a lot of points that can be given up. Like let's look at the talk about bugaboos, right? The Fulminators and the Storm Drake Guard.
Yeah.
Usually it's 1 unit reinforced once, right? So you're giving up 2 points each per unit if/when they're killed. And the Storm Drake Guard are also monsters, so you're giving out monster points.
Yep.
If they're being killed. What it's going to have to say is that like it's a risky tactic, because if you fully commit your Storm Drake Guard into your enemy's army and you don't wipe out what it is that you need to,
Yeah.
And they can retaliate, they are going to strip points off you just for being there.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's what I hope it does, and it probably won't. But what I hope it does is cause people to temper not just their list building, but also their aggressive play styles.
Yes.
So that way it's like, oh, I'm going to try and blow them off the board turn one. Oh, you failed. Now you're screwed. Hopefully it works some type of balance into the game. Again, and I'm saying that because of what I don't see on the page.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a lot of strong stuff in here. I met Deepkin who aren't prime hunters, but they're not priority targets. And so if they're going up against priority targets, they're just going to be getting points off of that.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that a lot of people had that reaction where like, but it didn't make my faction better.
No.
That's not what this was for.
Yeah, this simply does not change anybody's rules at all. There's no changes to any rules, points, or what have you associated with this. It's just going to make you think a little bit more and a little bit harder about how you deal with, how you play with these things. Yep. One of the things I thought was funny is you got Bloodstalkers coming in at the same reward level as Marathi Kane.
Yeah.
I think they could have played with that reward level a little bit more, like maybe the Stormdrake Guard could have been 2 points. But then again, if you reinforce the unit and you hit it with a Prime Hunter, now you're giving up 5 points. So that is a battle
6 because they're monsters.
Yeah, 6 because they're so you are giving up basically a battle tag. So that might have been too much. And, it's going to be fun to watch this play out.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, my first gut reaction was, oh, God, let's sell Sylvaneth. Oh, God, let's sell some Gloomspite. But in reality, it's designed to make you think a little bit more about just throwing this stuff right up into the line and just saying, army be damned. I'm going for it.
I want to venture just a quick comment on something here. So the Prime Hunters, it reads, some factions, sub-factions, and army types are listed as Prime Hunters. If you command a Prime Hunter's army, each time you score any victory points for a destroyed enemy priority target unit, you score 1 additional victory point. I read that out loud because I want you to take note that it doesn't say that a Prime Hunter unit needs to do that. So if you ally in, your Gatebreaker into death, and he goes and smashes Stormdrake Guard, because he hits that hard, you still score the extra points because they're priority targets and you're a Prime Hunter's army.
Yeah.
And so don't think like, oh, my Night Haunt can't do that. Well, you have a tool, which, by the way, doesn't give up additional points.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, my Auric Warclan Bone Splitters can't do that. Well, then there's Kragnos, who's coming in and making sure that you can.
Yes. Yes, you can.
There are ways to get these things done. So, just don't look at it and think like, oh my God, there's no way that, 120 grots are going to be able to do anything. No, the big guy.
No, the dude.
Yeah, he'll do that for you.
He'll handle it.
So
interesting little battle scroll and an interesting take on fixing certain issues in the game right now. Yeah. Depending on how this plays out and how we see it work, say at Adepticon next week, they could probably do more of this.
Yeah.
Like you said, some very notable exclusions on this list. I don't see Archeon on here anywhere.
Nope.
So, but I see Be'lakor.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, there's some really crazy Be'lakor builds out there that are nutty, and they don't get penalized for what they do.
Yeah.
At all. Now they kind of will a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Fun times. I kind of expected to see in this battle scroll, in the spring battle scroll, I expected to see something completely different than what we got. And so I think my first reaction was tempered by, this isn't helping, But in reality, I think overall game-wise, it will.
It's one of the things I think they have to balance with so many battle tomes on the horizon.
Yeah.
Is that they can't just be going like balls out and making all kinds of crazy changes that are just going to be changed. Or, are you giving them the changes that are going to come in the battle tome, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why the updates come out as they do. So I like what they're trying to do here, given what's on the horizon. I think that 40K, I think we saw a measure of that with how 40K data slates were coming out. In particular, like Drukari and all that stuff, like they got hit hard, but their books had already been released, right?
Right.
Chaos has been given like a sprinkle.
Yeah.
Right? Just a touch.
Drip fed.
Like you get a little something. Don't worry, it's coming, right? There weren't
You'll
like
get your
massive
2 wound Marines. Jesus. Settle down, people.
right? That's the thing. Every time that data slate comes out, they're like, well, it's not, 2 wounds for Chaos Space Marines. And we're like, you're not taking Chaos Space Marines. You're not going to win a tournament with 2 wounds on Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, it's not going to happen. You're still going to die.
It's not going to
Hal's still going to win.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what your Chaos Space Marines do or don't do right now until they get their
until
codex.
they get their codex. Yes.
Yeah, so
it's just not going to change. All right, so next up, the new White Dwarf. I believe it is number 474. That's
correct.
Quite a few White Dwarfs when you come to think of it. We're almost at White Dwarf 500.
Yeah.
I have issue 100, 200, 300. Pretty sure I have 400. I think 400 might have been a White Dwarf weekly, though. I don't remember. I have to look. Kind of looking forward to 500. In this one,
they gave us a lot. So all of you Corn players got that much needed update. Congratulations. Welcome to the meta.
Yeah.
So Corn got some good updates, I think.
Yes, they did.
Right. Again, it feels like Corn's coming soonish, because otherwise I feel like they would have had like a Beast of Chaos treatment.
Yeah.
Right.
A complete overhaul. This is just let's make you deal with spells the way you should deal with spells. They have the Hatred of Sorcery rule now.
I love it.
Each time a friendly Corn unit is affected by a spell or the abilities of an endless spell, you roll a die on a 6, ignore the effect, and you receive a Blood Tithe point. So I'll take a 1 in 6. Yeah, I don't care about your Hand of Dust. I don't care about your this, that, the other thing. So that could be very nice, especially with the proliferation of magic going around.
Well, yeah, I think magic will become much more widely used with Eidolon coming to the tables again.
Yep.
So Corn's kind of like, no, we're already ready for the shift in the meta.
Mm-hmm.
But this is so powerful. It's every unit,
Yeah.
So
it's every
Techless is trying to
Corn
bomb
unit.
you or something. You're just like, all right, cool. Let's see if these guys get it. Oh, ignore blood point. Oh, ignore blood point.
And that's kind of nice. Not only do you ignore it, but you get a Blood Tithe point. So yeah, cool. Then there was an update. You want to cover the Skull Altar?
Yeah, Skull Altar. So this guy, so lets you reroll chanting rolls for friendly Corn priests wholly within 8. 8 being the number of Corn, in case you didn't know, folks. I know we haven't seen Corn around in a while, but the number's 8.
But 8 is the thing.
So while any terrain feature with the senior rules on the battlefield, if the spell is miscast, the caster suffers D6 instead of D3.
Bonkers good.
I love that. I love that.
Oh my God, that's good.
And a magic heavy army, you're going to miscast at least once. And so it's good to see that could be a little bit more punishing.
Way painful. And it's on the battlefield. It's not 18 inches. It's not 12. It's battlefield. So
yeah. Corn's punishing all those casters out there. Then invoke judgment. While a Corn hero garrisons this terrain feature, can attempt to summon invocations in the same manner as a Corn priest and benefits from the Word of Hate ability when it does so. So I like this if you want to shove your mortal hero into there because you want your slaughter priest up there trying to blood boil some folks, right? You're like, oh, I could run back real quick and get this invocation even though I don't have a priest that's alive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not a bad little... That's it. That's really it. In terms of the War Scroll updates, they did get some grand strategies and battle tactics just to kind of machine gun through all this stuff. So open play, Corn twists, kind of like Beast of Chaos, 1 to 3 or 4 to 6.
Yep.
1 to 3 during this battle, units cannot issue the all-out defense command. However, the all-out attack command can be used more than once in the same phase.
Who knew Corn?
Yeah, super corny, right?
Yeah.
Then 4 to 6, Risen Gormoon. During this battle, add 1 to the attack characteristics of all melee weapons. So
that's everywhere.
Yeah.
Add 1 to the attacks of all melee weapons. That's me, you, the lamppost.
Corn cares not from where the blood
That's
flows.
right.
Then the ruse is bring the slaughter. Once per battle, to start the hero phase, you can say that you will bring the slaughter. If you do so until the end of that turn, each time you would receive 1 blood tithe point. You receive 2 blood tithe points instead.
Hi.
Yeah. So if you're throwing your blood reavers into the blender, trying to build up your blood tithe, it's going to happen super quick.
Yes.
Super quick.
Yes.
Then we get to match play. We got 1 grand strategy for the Blood God. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy. If in every battle round after the first, you summon Corn demon units to the battlefield by expending blood tithe points. It's very Corn. It's just,
It's Corn and it's you have to build for that.
Yeah.
You have to have an army that's built for that grand strategy.
It's super aggro too, because
Yeah.
you're just trying to throw units into the blender. Yours,
Yeah.
theirs, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You just want to do it so you can keep summoning, 5 bloodletters, 5
Yep.
bloodletters, 5 bloodletters.
Yeah, and that's the key right there is make sure you have plenty of bloodletters on hand. So don't
So
expect
true.
the recycle to work.
All right, battle tactics for the skull throw. Seems to be on theme, right?
Yeah, just a little.
Blood for the altar. Pick one enemy unit within 9 inches of your skull altar. You complete this battle tactic if that unit is destroyed during this turn. Not bad.
Pretty
Not a bad
simple,
one.
straightforward.
They're doing that with a lot of terrain. You have that for Eidolon. You have that for the Beasts of Chaos. It seems to be like if you have faction terrain, this is going to become an update for you.
Yes.
So then slay the sorcerer. Pick one enemy hero on the battlefield that is a wizard. You complete this battle tactic. That hero is slain during this turn.
Watch out, Stormcast Wizards. Watch out, Sequitors. Watch out, Lumineth. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, against Lumineth, whoo.
Yeah. Oh, you're all sorts. Oh, but you're all
hero.
dead.
Every hero's a wizard.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Who knew?
Trial of Skulls. Pick one friendly unit. You complete this battle tactic. If 8 or more enemy models are slain by attacks made by that unit during this turn, that's probably going to be your launching a Bloodthirster into
screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to. That's almost an auto win. You'll take that on a specific turn that you know you need it, and real doable.
Yeah, very doable, particularly with your one that just dishes out mortal wounds to everything and when it hit like wounds on a 6 or something.
Yeah.
So their Path to Glory is super cool.
Oh my gosh.
I really like the flavor of it. So just from the get-go, Khorne demon units that do not have the hero keyword are not recorded on your order of battle. Instead, when you pick your army for a battle, you can include up to 3 Khorne demon units that do not have the hero keyword for each Bloodthirster you include in your army. And you can include 1 Khorne demon unit that does not have the hero keyword for each other Khorne demon hero or Khorne mortal hero you include in your army.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, you can't upgrade them, which is part of the incentive of it, but I like the narrative flair to that.
Yeah.
Which is that the demons aren't just going to show up, right? Like, they need to have someone they're going to follow.
And they're bringing their stuff.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's really cool. You have your veteran abilities. So the Edge of the Axe. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle in your hero phase. If you do so, this unit can make a normal move in that hero phase. Super strong.
Very.
Super strong. Rune-etched weapons. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle when it's picked to fight in the combat phase. If it does so, improve the rend characteristic of that unit's melee weapons by 1 until the end of that phase.
There, see, they added rend.
Right?
Path to Glory.
If you're a narrative player who wants to, Merciless Killers. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle in the combat phase after it is fought for the first time. If it does so, this unit can fight for a second time in that phase. The strike last effect applies to this unit when they fight for that second time.
This is still a bonkers cool ability. I mean, that is a great ability. Oh,
yeah, I absolutely love that. And then, the Blade of Khorne quest, Pyramids of Skulls. I love this. You only pick this quest if the skull-marked mountain territory is under your control and it has not yet been upgraded with a Pyramid of Skulls. While this quest is on your Path to Glory roster, keep a tally of the number of enemy models slain in battle in the progress section of your quest log. When the tally reaches 87, stop adding to the tally. Your warlord is now searching for the perfect skull to place upon the pyramid zenith. If you earn a major victory while your tally is 87, and in that battle the general was slain, you can complete the quest in the aftermath sequence of that battle. When you complete this quest, you gain 15 glory points, and your warlord gains 15 renown. In addition, your skull-marked mountain territory is upgraded with a Pyramid of Skulls.
Okay, this is bonkers. The amount of things that have to go right. So on your exploration, you have to roll a 65 or 66 just to get the skull-marked mountain, just to activate the quest. Then you have to build up 87 freaking points. And now 87 kills is not that hard. But it's crazy hard to do. But by God, when you do it, it's like, oh, here's 15 and 15. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And so let's look at the skull-marked mountain real quick. So you can never have more than 1 territory of this type, and has no effect until it is upgraded. When you upgrade to a Pyramid of Skulls, it states when fighting a Path to Glory battle against another Path to Glory army, you receive 1 blood tithe point at the start of each hero phase.
Yeah. This is so good.
Yeah, it's so Khorne. It's so Khorne.
I mean, if you pull that off, It's like I said, everything has to go right. The big thing is the 65 or 66 to get the skull marked mountain. So that's going to be the big gatekeeper. After that, the quest is not really that hard.
No.
87 kills and then a major victory.
Killing the general.
Yeah,
right?
killing the general. So, yeah. But
I love it.
Dear God.
Yeah, so these territories, Slaughter Pit is 61 or 62 on the roll. Step 3 of the Aftermath sequence, you can pick one unit on your order of battle that was not included in your army in that battle to be sent to this territory. If you do so, roll a dice. On a 3+, you gain 1 renown. However, on a 1, the unit must either make an injury roll or have its casualty score increased by 1, whichever is applicable. So you get to try and send them to like train themselves up and stuff like that. And if not, then there's a detriment to them.
Yeah, just about everybody has one like that.
And then if you upgrade to Arena of Blood, you can send 2 such units to the territory instead of 1.
Yay.
I like it. Pull of Molten Brass is ridiculous, by the way.
Yes.
You receive D3 additional glory points in step 1 of the Aftermath sequence. Again, this is 63-64. Upgrade for 30 GP Brass Monolith. You can never have more than 1 upgraded territory of this type. In the middle tier and higher tier battles, when rolling the Hatred of Sorcery battle trait, treat rolls of 5 as 6 instead.
Hello.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Oh, it's so spicy. I love it. You could do certain upgrades for the Khorne stuff. This is sort of like the Stormcast had, where you have like certain characters that could be upgraded to other characters. Right. So if you started with an Aspiring Deathbringer, you could become Exalted, and then the Exalted could become a Mighty Lord of Khorne. The Mighty Lord of Khorne could become a Lord of Khorne on a Juggernaut. So that's sort of the upgrade path. And then for the Demon Heroes, you can have Bloodmaster become a Skullmaster, or a Bloodmaster or a Skullmaster can become a Herald of Khorne on Bloodthrone. Again, this is the upgrade path they had. So
yeah, it's kind of a fun. I like those upgrade things because it helps you recycle through your army and use different models. And especially with their army creation rules where it's more freeform than anyone else's.
Yeah.
Again, you can't upgrade units. Nice changes for Khorne. Match play wise, the change to the Skull Altar is really good. And just having that 6, it basically ward save against spells. That's nice. It's not going to happen every time, but when it does, you're going to be like, yeah, eat that.
Sweet. I mean, there's a number of things there that some things I've been trying to wonder about too, like Lumineth, when they cast Total Eclipse and you go to use a command point, which is triggered by a model using the command ability.
Yeah.
Do you roll a dice to see if it's not affected by that?
Oh, wow.
Just questions I have. I'm not assuming we can come to an answer on that today.
Well, it says that the effect is not. Yeah, I think you would.
Because that could be super powerful, right? All right, let me see if I can use this command ability. Pop up. I ignore Total Eclipse.
Yeah.
I get a Blood Tithe point, and I spend 1 command point instead of 2.
Nice.
Could be a thing. I don't know.
Could be good.
They have a little campaign here, the Measure of Sorcery. There are cards that came with the issue that lets you track this.
Oh, there's enough cards in this issue that this issue of White Dwarf comes with, it comes in one of those cardboard folders because they give you a card for the altar. The Herdstone gets a card. In the last issue, the Herdstone was, just a paper thing.
Yeah.
Now it's a full card. So
Kudos
for that. And then just tons of cards for Warcry and Kill Team and you name it. It's it's an action-packed White Dwarf. Yay.
Yeah, there's so much in here. The Warcry stuff particularly features the Fire Slayers and the Eineth Deepkin. That's apropos, right?
Very.
And they had the new rules for the Harlequins in Kill Team.
I quit Kill Team over this.
Did you?
Yeah. Because everybody's going to run Harlequins.
They're so good.
Because there's no reason not to just hit the win button. No, I'm kidding. But they literally are a win button. They are. If you have Harlequins, you win Kill Team.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So your operatives, you get a lead player, which is, a troop master, essentially. Yeah. They're equipped with one of the following options: fusion pistol or shuriken pistol. Thing is, they limited the fusion pistol to 1 per kill team, which is the fair thing to do.
Thank God. I mean, if not, dear God.
And then you have Blade, Caress, Embracer, Kisser power weapons. But for your troops, apparently these are troops, you could take a Death Jester and a Shadow Seer. The Shadow Seer would take a Neuro Disruptor or Shuriken pistol, so if you're looking at taking a Neuro Disruptor, you may want to throw it on her.
Yep.
So you can have 1 Shadow Seer and 1 Death Jester. Fill it out with players. You essentially get 3 characters that would otherwise be characters in the actual 40K. And they got some good tac ops. They got some fun strats and everything.
And cards for all of this stuff are in the issue.
Oh, yeah.
So their ploys are really, really good across the board. I didn't see any that were like lame. I really did. I really like the name table.
Oh, yeah.
It's just goofy. But I mean, all the name tables are goofy, so lots of fun.
No, it's. I think they're going to be really strong and just generally fun to play anyway. The psychic powers they're looking good.
Yeah. Harlequins are going to be fun to play.
Yep.
Of course, they're expensive.
Yes.
So you're not going to take don't bring your full troop with you because you ain't getting them in. But
well, I mean, because it's Kill Team, right? It's always structured. So
sure.
you always have 1 lead player and then 7 troop.
Yep.
Which is how it's always going to be. So you're taking 8 models only. So you need to think about sort of your ability to spread across the board, affect multiple units. Like if you're going up against guardsmen, is your 8 going to be able to stand up to 14? There's a number of considerations. Are they also going to be able to punch through some Chaos Space Marines? Yeah, there's a number of things to consider here. But I mean, they all have APL 3, right? Oof,
yeah.
That's nasty in and of itself.
Yeah, I know.
Their saves are garbage, but they have their 4-up invuln.
So
I mean, they're going to be fun. Yeah, I mean, they're all sub 10 wounds, so
yep.
If an attack gets through their invuln, they're just squished.
Yeah, they're going to be their downsides are equated to how powerful they are.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but as they start dying, you are going to see significant decrease in your ability.
Yep. So really be ready to play it out.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna do a full review of that. We're not a Kill Team podcast.
That's right.
So.
Cover.
It was good stuff.
Yes.
As you mentioned earlier, you got the Hearthstone and Blood Skull Altar cards.
Yep.
I was happy for that because I didn't want to cut that paper and glue it to cardboard.
No, that's I like them including that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
In terms of last thing for New Dawn, there's actually new combat patrols being launched. Actually doing Grey Knights. Actually doing Thousand Suns.
What?
So if you wanted what's the rough equivalent of the half of the box that came out of Grey Knights versus Thousand Suns, they changed up the hero.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually really funny down at the shop. Like people have been like freaking out that like librarians and Terminator armor were going away.
Oh, God,
like people were like, oh my God, they're leaving.
What the hell?
Why are they doing that? And I was like, it's the HQ in the combat patrol for the Grey Knights.
Yeah.
Folks, calm down.
It's still around.
Yep. It's still around.
How many of you were really taking it? So just, I know, but it's sad to see that GW is facing bankruptcy, I'm sure. And so they're having to cut the product line considerably.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after dark.
Yeah.
I have a rant for
just a little
some
one.
folks. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we get to that point. But yeah, that's it for New Dawn. And of course, news at 11 will be coming.
Will be coming shortly.
So we'll come back to anything that's pre-order today.
Yes. Yes, we will.
Make sure you join us tonight for the news at 11.
In the news at 11, the drops for next week. The beautiful new Avatar of Cain model, which looks remarkably like the old Avatar of Cain model.
I hear he's slightly bigger now.
Okay. I would hope. Beautiful paint job on the demo model. Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Enough flame, but not so much flame that he looks like, a fire dragon or a what's his name? A Bellicor look-alike a demon prince. Also for Eldar, the Shining Spears are coming out, which is super nice. I love those models. The Autarch is coming in a clam pack. Mm-hmm. The Rangers are coming in a box of their own with a little, I don't know, they have a little extra piece there. And it says they come with 11 different heads to include either a gloom field or wire weave net in the hand of one of your Rangers, as well as a shrine to their god Cain. Nice little box for the Rangers. A box of 3 Shroud Runners. So I like those from the original, what's his name box.
Yeah, it's a fun concept, just as an idea. Just these snipers riding around on the back of these.
Of jet bikes.
Yeah, it's a little anime.
You betcha. And then Eldari are getting a combat patrol box, which looks like a Wraith Lord and 6 Flyers and a Guardian with a heavy.
And a Farseer.
And a Farseer. Oh, yeah, I didn't see the Farseer yet.
6 bikes in a box, though. Ooh, boy.
That's spicy.
I think that's where your money is.
Yes, it is.
Tempest of War cards coming out. So you can generate missions for your match play games. Ooh, that's actually kind of fun. Right?
Oh, okay. So we're doing open war again. God bless them.
I love it.
God bless them.
Range rotation. We recently announced the various models are being rotated out of the Warhammer 40,000 range for a time. Now a second range will leave the range on a temporary basis. Following units will be going off sale on the 3rd of April. But if you order before then, you're guaranteed to get them. So,
and then the key sentence here is they will eventually re-enter the range at some point in the future.
Yep.
Face it, folks, these are getting new sculpts. So some of the things that are going away, Masters of the Chapter, Armor Through the Ages, I have those 2 boxes, nothing to write home about. Servitors are going away, Lord Executioner, Librarian and Terminator armor.
Oh, wait.
What?
I'm just joking.
Oh, yeah, I know, I hear you. Tech Marine Chaplain. I mean, a lot of different things are going away. The Demos Pattern, Damocles Command Rhino. I know a lot of people are going to get upset about none. The Landspeeder Tempest with the new Landspeeders out, the call for that is 0. So, yeah, I mean, just a lot of things are going out because I think, number one, they don't fit the aesthetic, and number two, they're crap models anyway. They're just not well conceived.
No.
So they're going away. But if you want those particular models, if you love them, get them now. From Black Library, you have Urdesh coming out in soft cover, The Serpent and the Saint. So nice little soft cover there.
Assassinorum Kingmaker.
Ooh, that looks like a new book.
Vindicar and Calidus are tasked with eliminating an increasingly unhinged monarch and safely steering a pro-imperial candidate to the throne.
Very nice. It's going to be available in hardback, ebook, and MP3.
I'm here for it.
I don't know. To me, assassins are always crazy nuts, and hearing a story from their point of view is going to be really weird.
That'll be awesome, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then Horus Heresy Collection 7.
In French.
And then they have Trader Rock in French as well.
Very nice. So our French reading-speaking folks are going to get some books. Yay. Very, very nice. Warhammer Plus, we're going to get a Lore Masters on Gorchak Gunnison. I'm sorry, but it's not going to top the audio series. So,
isn't there a Plague Song for Hammer and Bolter about a Death Guard sorcerer?
Okay.
This will be followed in the very near future by the glorious conclusion to the Exodite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like the battle report is going to be Sisters versus
Demons.
Khorne Demons.
Yeah, okay.
So that should be interesting. That's a match made in hell. So basically next week it's 40k Eldar, and if you don't like that, go away.
Yeah, I can't wait to get that avatar and turn it into a corpse on something. No, okay. I love that model so much.
Wow.
That was for Troy.
That
was for Troy. You're
going to go to hell for saying things like that.
You know what?
It's funny. I really want to get that model, but I'm not sure I don't like my avatar model better. I'm not sure I love that pose. But, an avatar is an avatar, especially if this one is bigger. It makes your Azariani core units better, allowing them to re-roll charges.
It's supposed to be bigger.
Ignore. Huh?
It's supposed to be bigger.
I hope it is. I like the 2 different heads, though.
I love the unhelmeted.
The unhelmeted head is definitely where I'm going. The helmeted head looks okay. The unhelmeted is off the hook.
I will say this, because we got coming up end of April 30th is when it's due. Battlefield Behemoth.
Oh, yeah.
For the Everchosen stuff. I might have to pick up this bad boy.
Yeah.
And paint that up as mine.
There you go.
That'll, because I've been kind of waffling on what to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not there on the Wraith Knight yet because I want to paint souls in its face.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so it's a very Space LV week. Definitely going to be some people who are going to be freaking out online about all the models that are going off of GW's website, and I'll have words for them in After Dark. So
yeah. All right, then. Let's move on to the show.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to creation. I'm going to go first because I don't have anything. Honestly, nothing. I put paint on one model, and quite literally not being able to move my thumb anymore. It really messes up the painting. Something fierce. But I did paint Clea for Marvel Crisis Protocol only because I was testing out the new Army Painter speed paints.
And how did that go?
Okay. Let me caveat this with, I'm a GW fanboy. Everybody knows it. Okay. However, I'm also an Army Painter fanboy. I like their stuff. I like how they approach. Their stuff isn't the highest quality stuff, but it's a heck of a lot more approachable for a lot more people. And, if you look, the way Army Painter works, like they have for Star Wars Legion, they have the Legion paint sets.
Yeah.
So someone that just needs to get models put out on the table can buy their models, buy that paint set, and they're done. They're good. So they approach things from that, and of course they're colored primers, with the exception of having the crappiest spray cans in the world. They're really good. They're really good primers. The speed paints, I'd say the biggest knock I have for them is they're not contrast paints. The actual thing that keeps me from switching to speed paints completely is they have this problem that when they get wet, they reactivate. Now, what that means basically is, let's say you paint a whole area on a model purple with their speed paint purple, which is really good, better than the GW purple. But then you go and you start painting, say, black pants on Clea. If you touch any of that purple, the purple reactivates and becomes paint again, and it basically undries. And you get this very weird sort of mix of the two wherever they meet. And to me, that's a game breaker. That is, if you're trying to paint an area yellow and right next to it is some black, you're going to get a very faded, muddy brown in between the two areas, because they're much thinner than contrast paints. They're more like a thick wash. Okay. So you're going to have some paint control issues, and unless you're really, really good, they're going to mix and everything's going to just get turned into a kind of a muddy brownish. So I would say overall, all of the ones I've tried are thinner than the GW equivalents, but their colors are really nice and vibrant. And like I said, their purple is better than either of the GW purples. The Magos purple is too light, and then the dark purple, which is, I think, Shyish purple, is too dark. So there's no mid-range. This gives you a really good mid-range. So,
does that necessarily make them better than GW, or does it just make it something in the mid-range?
That's the whole thing. Is I don't want to say they're better or worse. They're different.
Yeah.
And they have different, I'll say one thing, they airbrush really, really nicely. And they act as, just like contrast does when you airbrush it. They're more of a filter than a contrast paint.
Yeah.
Except for the really dark contrast paints, which you don't ever shoot with an airbrush anyway. So you have to play around with them. But to me, the game breaker is the fact that unless you paint a color, varnish, paint the next color, varnish, paint the next color, varnish, that it kind of kills the whole idea of speed painting, where you're just trying to get through it as quickly as you can. Now, if you're doing like D&D miniatures, if you're doing just, stuff you want to put on the board for another, a board game or something.
Yeah.
Hey, they're perfect. They're absolutely perfect. If you're doing, full scale miniature armies and stuff, I think the drawbacks of speed paint outweigh the less cost. But again, it's one of those where I don't want to say they're bad, because they do exactly what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
You just have to be aware of how they react, and how if you, heaven forbid, you're taking a wet brush and you get a drop of water onto the one you just painted, it's going to just run all over the place. It's terrible. So yeah, they're okay.
Watercolors by.
Yeah, they definitely have their uses, and if you're one of those people that likes to do, a few coats or, a few areas and then varnish, then you're not going to, they'll work just fine for you. Again, they're just not contrast. They have different properties. They're not better. They're not worse. They're different. I'd say overall quality-wise, they're about like Army Painter quality across the board. They're just a step below some of these other companies, but their cheapness makes them so much more approachable.
Interesting.
Yep. So, it's just, if you can play around their drawbacks, you're golden. You're good to go. To me, they don't replace contrast just because of the two things that they do that I don't like.
Yeah.
So, but it's no big deal. For a lot of people, they are the answer. Good to go. Enjoy. Don't let anybody tell you you're wrong. So that's all I had. Really, literally, I painted one model just to test the speed paints.
If you stop playing Elden Ring for 5 minutes, then maybe.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Say what? Did you say I can quit at any time? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Maybe after dark.
After
we'll
dark.
talk about that, yeah. So I've been a busy boy.
Yes, you have.
So when I said that I felt the primordial call, I was not joking.
Jesus.
So I've built and primed that has not been painted yet. 10 Bestigors, my Herdstone, a Gorgon, Grashrax, and a Doombull. I have built 3 more Bulgors. I have 9 more on sprue, waiting for me to build them. And then I painted my Dragon Ogre, Vampire Ogre, 3 Skyfires, 10 Ungor Raiders, 2 Chaos Spawn, and 1.5 out of 3 Bulgors and a Chimera. I say 1.5 because I'm like halfway done with the second one. It's not that it's a complicated paint scheme. It's just that I'm painting flesh tones over and over and over again, so I need to break it up. But yeah, I kind of going ham on this. And
Here I thought you said you did a lot of stuff. Jesus Christ.
That's only a third of my list.
If I give you my Sylvaneth boxes, will you do those too?
Well, we could talk about commission.
Yeah. Good Lord.
You know, when Contrast first came out, because I had a bunch of Sylvaneth too, I was like, I don't want to paint all these Dryads. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Wildwood comes out and I'm like, holy crap, thank God. And I whipped out like 30 Dryads with a dry brush in like 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it was just pop, 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 pop. Like it was so wonderful.
Isn't it just brilliant? I mean, oh.
Yeah. I imagine if it was speed paints, it would take longer because it'd keep activating again. And it's horrible. But,
well, the thing, depending on how a lot of people say the contrast range is the GW Brown paint range, which they have a brown for every season. But depending on how the speed paint browns come along, they could be a really welcome addition to that, to either darken areas or lighten areas, Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I totally agree. The browns from Contrast are just amazing.
Yeah, and
I
there's
love them.
just 8 shades, and with mixing them, you can get any organic kind of brownish you want.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so this is all because we're coming up on the narrative next month. So I just need to finish my Doom Bull and the Bulgors to make sure I have a fully painted, aside from the Herdstone, which I'm saving for a Ever-Chosen challenge coming up. I'll have a painted 500 points for that.
Oh, nice.
And be pretty darn close to my 1,000 points for it. So just cranking that out. Then on to the Moisty boys, because this is definitely, appropriate for now. Now, I haven't painted any of them, but I think I've talked about this before. But just to be clear, with Eidolon Deepkin, I have a lot already. I had a ton.
Yes.
Because my wife really liked their aesthetic. She painted up an Achillean King and won a paint competition with that one, just local.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. Do you think you'll play these? And she's like, yeah, I really like how they look. We got a Lotan back when you could buy one. Be jealous, everyone.
A who? A what? No.
No one's ever heard of
mythical
Lotan.
beasts.
Right? Lotan was a meme that was on a box at one point. And then whenever I had the model.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have Oktar and his cudgel. I love it. But anyway, she painted the Achillean King and was like, cool. If she thinks she's going to play it, then I'm going to literally build the crap out of this army. So we got a turtle. We got an Eidolon of Mathlon. This is 3 years ago, by the way. We got the Eidolon of Mathlon. I built it as aspect of the sea. Then we got 12 eels. I painted 9 of them for her.
Damn.
She was like, oh, I'll paint 3 of them because I was going to do 6 Morsar, 6 Ishlayan. She was going to paint 3 of the Ishlayan. She never did. But I painted all 9 that I had. And my take on it was, I'm going to paint every eel a different color combination.
Oh, geez.
So no one eel's the same. The riders look the same, but no one eel is the same.
That's cool, though. Yeah.
So I painted all those eel boys up, and they sat around for a while. I mean, I played a few games with them because I know this is super fun. But I played a few games with them, and then she hasn't done anything with them. But IDK came back with this stuff and was like, well, I guess I better get on this. So I did. I finished building her Leviathan for her. Finished the aspect of the sea. I'd built him as the aspect, but I didn't put him on his cape yet.
Okay.
So I got him on there. He was primed and everything too. I custom made an Achillean Queen. And if you read the IDK book, there's actually a reference to an Achillean Queen. So that's there.
You can't just have kings. Come on.
I mean, I guess you could. It'd be weird. They spawn asexual. Anyway, then I took This is funny. So we're reading the End of Enlightenment for the Ever Chosen Book of the Month Club thing. And in there, the Lumineth, Cathalar is how it's pronounced in the book, or some people call Cathalar.
Yeah.
Or Cat Hauler.
Cat Hauler. Thank you.
Cat Hauler, I think, is the actual way to pronounce it because, according to someone at the store, you can pronounce it whatever you want.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Arik. Anyway. So I took the Cat Hauler, and it's just a subtle Kip Asher. I put like one of the Idoneth pots on her hip because she already looks so siren-like to me was the thing. And I think the sensor can actually work for like the Aether Sea concept.
Yeah.
Then I glued some of the sea life to the base.
Nice.
You know, and it's like, there's my Tidecaster.
Yeah.
My Tide Cat Hauler. And then I built and primed 3 sharks as well. Then I had some Fire Slayer stuff that Seth down at the shop wanted to get off my hands. And I wanted a half of the Fury of the Deep.
Okay, yeah.
And he was like, okay, well, I'll trade you your Magma Droth, the 2 heroes that come with it, and the, what was it? Battlesmith. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that for you. You know, granted, I don't have to buy half the box, and the value of that box is insane. So, you know, trade him that. So I built 6 out of the 10 thralls, haven't touched the Reavers, built the Shark, haven't built the Thrallmaster. I already have 10 thralls. I have a fully painted Achillean King, like I said earlier, and a fully painted Soul Render that I had done. That was a little painting competition thing. So that was pretty fun. So I got a lot of Moisty boys on the way. They're backseat to 2 projects that I have right now, which is my Primordial Call.
Yeah.
And then the next one is we're going to be doing our own little narrative event campaign with just a few friends on Monday nights. I think, Bill, you said you're going to play Eldar, right? If you get the time.
Trying, yeah.
Yeah. And then Troy wants to play Eldar. Clayton wants to play Death Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was torn on what to do, but I got this model from our friend Keneal. That is a hardcore miniatures model. It's someone did a sculpt of Guts, right? I talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
Guts from Berserk. So I was like, how do I want to play him? Because you're like, what faction does he belong in? All these things. And I was talking with you and Anders yesterday, and Anders brought up the concept of the Knight Errant.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that just solves all my problems because I want to play him in so many different factions that it's just...
He'll be across the board.
Yeah.
You know?
He's my Knight Errant. What are his rules? Whatever I need them to be, frankly, until I find a place that I think is right. But I decided to go Grey Knights. So I have some Grey Knights at home already. So I picked up some more yesterday.
Did you buy the box?
What box? Oh, the Combat Patrol, not yet.
Okay.
I didn't pre-order it. I'll buy it next week when it's anniversary.
When it's there, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But all things said and done, when I added up all the stuff I only bought 2 boxes. I bought 2 of the Brotherhood Terminator squads. That way I can make the 2 of the heroes, a Paladin squad, and 1 Brotherhood Terminator squad. Everything I had added together comes over like 1,500 points almost. I was like, I forgot how elite this army was.
Yes, it's yeah.
And I don't even have any like Grandmasters and Vendreads yet. Not Venerable Dreadnoughts. Sorry, the Dread Knights, right?
Jesus.
So that'll come with the next setup and everything. But I had that commemorative series chaplain that came out.
Yep.
And I was like, well, that's perfect for a Brotherhood chaplain.
You betcha. I love that model. Oh.
How's my Guts model going to figure into it? I don't know. Maybe I'll just run him as Caldor Drago or something.
Yeah.
Or a Grandmaster. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But
he could be a generic Grandmaster.
Yeah.
So
with a Nemesis Demon Sword, Great Sword, I'll call it.
Sure.
Just because, that model's so gorgeous. I'll try and put pictures up. What I did for that model in particular, so I assembled it without the head. His right foot is supposed to be on top of this custom orc head that they did, which is like it's squished and you can see part of its brain and stuff like that. Like, that's really cool. I don't want to throw that bit away because I put him. So I had a very unfortunate, expensive failed Marathi attempt where little Marathi got jacked up.
Oh.
Right. So I had to end up buying another Marathi to fix my little Marathi. It's all right. Kim wanted to paint her anyway. And the only reason I bought was like, would you paint the other Marathi if I get this one? And she's like, yeah. The thing is, my previous Marathi, little Marathi, popped off the base. So I have the 40 millimeter base with that really nice stair set up. I was like, well, I've been saving this for a reason.
Hell yeah. Perfect.
Here it is.
Yeah.
And he stands freaking perfectly on it.
Oh man, that's nice.
It's so great. I'm like, do I keep the orc head like at the bottom, like he just like chopped it off and it fell down the stairs? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would.
I'll try and figure that out. But I got that done. So what all did I build in Prime since yesterday? Okay. So Guts, my knight errant. Already had 5 strike squad built up from a kill team previously, right?
Okay.
I didn't have them painted, but I always had kill teams available if someone wanted to try something out. So I may try Grey Knights. I built 5 interceptors. I built the chaplain. I built an apothecary. I built a Brotherhood Ancient. I built 3 paladins, 5 Brotherhood Terminators. I didn't build the Vendread. I already had it done. And in fact, the Venerable Dreadnought I actually took a Nemesis Greatsword and used it as its close combat weapon on its hand.
Okay.
And my original idea was maybe use it for Death Watch as that one Lamentor that was remaining. But I'm just going to repaint it with all the silver. It's mostly silver right now.
Yeah.
Right. There was just a little bit of black that I started doing on it. So now I've got the Vendread there with a Grey Knight's weapon. So I'm just going to keep using it. Yeah. So,
Hell yeah.
and I already had Grandmaster Voldus. So I was going to use him as an Ordo Malleus Inquisitor and Terminator armor. But he's also just Grandmaster Voldus. So
Andy?
yeah, I did some things.
You did a couple of things.
Yeah, I'll try and step up my game for next show. So then that does it for me on creation. We'll just cover battle real quick.
What about? Oh, okay, yeah, that's where you put that. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So what'd you do for battle, Bill?
Nothing. Yeah, absolutely nothing. I haven't rolled a die in anger in 3 weeks. 4 weeks.
It's all that Elden Ring.
Yeah. Because I'm so good at that game.
I didn't really battle either. I mean, I've had some fun issues in court, but other than that, I mean, I don't know if it counts as a battle, but I had entered that little 500 New Army New Year Ever Chosen thing like you did, Bill.
Yes.
I got second in the 40K category. Second to Clayton.
Yep.
Who I still give him endless crap because he had parts of his models that weren't fully painted. And I was like, hey, Clayton, come look at this one maggot right here. I only missed one maggot. Well, you missed these seam lines. And you... So I give him crap for it. But yeah, so second there, and I think I was third overall. So
nice.
First place in Age of Sigmar was Josh Ryden's.
Yeah.
Amazing work on his Slaves to Darkness. Used a lot of real grim dark look to a lot of oil paints, you know, that kind of effect. So
way a lot of different techniques on that one.
Oh yeah, he hasn't put models on a board in 2.5 years. Once COVID hit, he and his wife were just in the house, and so what did he do? He's just been painting.
Yeah.
And he was a pretty decent painter before.
Yep.
But he's definitely ramped up his skills because he's just been painting and painting and painting and painting. And the Slaves to Darkness was the first thing he painted for himself. The rest have been just commission work. People are asking him to paint their stuff for them. And so he did. And so he's just been working and working and working. He's gotten a lot better.
And it shows. Yeah. I mean, it's really, that was a gorgeous army.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. In fact, if you visit the Warhammer Rio Rancho Facebook page, you can go back and see it.
That's true. Yes.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful. I think that does it for battle.
All right. Well, let's take a quick break and then we'll head on to the IDK book.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Okay, so now it's time to jump into the water.
Yeah.
We may as well just dive in head first because, Idoneth Deepkin. So overall, what do you think?
So high level overview. I think that this is an army of answers to certain problems or questions in the game in terms of what other strong factions are doing.
Yep.
It certainly has answers for the shooting meta.
Yes.
Given how Forgotten Nightmares works and how the rituals affect one of the tides, depending on where you're going. But we'll get to that in a minute. They're also really good against save stacking, particularly with the aspect of the sea.
Yeah.
What that guy's capable of doing is, ridiculous. And I mean, they have really strong mechanics. It not a lot has changed necessarily from where they were before. I think they're sort of realigned for third. It wasn't such a large change that it's not Idneth anymore.
Right.
It still takes a lot of the strengths that they had and lets you play them up. And some things got absolutely ridiculous, like borderline broken, but not quite. Some things were brought into alignment in a significant way.
Yes.
Like, for example, Reavers used to be just bonkers before this book came out. You take bricks of 30.
Yeah.
And now they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're okay. But it's probably okay that they're just okay.
Yes.
Because of the relative strength of the rest of the book.
Because of what you can do to them, too.
Yeah.
And, how you can enhance their... Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll give my overview here in a second.
I think Thralls got stronger, for sure. Eels are still super strong. I think, depending if you like the army and there's something you want to play in the army, there's a build for it.
Yeah.
But if you're something where you want to answer some problems in maybe the meta or something, you can build for it, I think, in a very significant way. That's my high level overview.
Yeah, my high level on this one is they did it again. They're continuing to do it where the book is super flexible. If you have your strong eel army from before, it's still out there and it's still really good. You have to make a couple changes here and there, but it's still going to be a really good playable army. It's not going to be that army that at certain points in the last edition, people would rock up to a table, see your eel list and go, God damn it, I hate this army.
Yeah.
You're not going to see as much of that because across the board, I think it's a really well-balanced book internally. So now everything is worth a look.
Yeah.
Now, if in ages past you didn't go down the Namarti route at all and you just don't have them, okay, you're gonna miss a phase of the book, but you're not dead. You're not completely out of it. So many tools in the toolbox and the ability finally to play with that toolbox and to alter how the tides work to your advantage. Really, really nice. But you have to commit to it. It's one of those deals. If you commit to altering the tides to do what you want it to do, you're also giving up some other things in the army. So it's not like, oh, I have an instant win button. So I really like the army. And like you say, it's a hard counter to a lot of the things in the meta out there now. And as we see more and more of these books, we're seeing what their design methodology and ideology is for third edition. And every faction isn't going to be balanced up against every other faction.
Yeah.
But what it's designed is over a period of time or in a tournament setting, every army can be a gatekeeper to some other army.
Yeah.
So, and I like that because it's going to lead to, look at what we've been seeing in tournaments lately. A lot of weird armies out there that you just hadn't seen in ages.
Yep.
And being super competitive and placing well. And that's all we can ever really ask for is that the broadest range of models are being played and people are having fun with them and they're doing well. They're doing okay. So, and this book, I think, just cuts along that. Like you say, they didn't change how Idneth play. They made it third edition and they gave you some really cool toys to play with.
Yep.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's jump into the gritty and the nitty, or the nitty gritty.
Right. So I'm going to go through the allegiance abilities, army rules, mount trait, spell lores, all those things first, because that sets the stage for literally everything else we'll talk after that. And we will go into Path to Glory.
Yeah.
As we are wont to do.
Yes.
So,
hey, Forgotten Nightmares.
Oh.
Still Forgotten Nightmares.
Forgotten Nightmares is still amazing. You have to shoot the closest on that Deepkin unit to the model that's shooting, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it can only be picked as a target of the shooting attack if they are the closest eligible target to the attacking model. So, hey, Sentinels, bust a move.
Yeah.
Hey, Longbow, guess what?
Yep.
You are a lot of points and you're spending it on shooting some Reavers.
So, I mean, this is advanced play stuff, but like Forgotten Nightmares isn't just defensive in the sense that first turn I don't get blown off the board by Lumineth. Right? Because it is specific to attacking model. And so if you are careful and you manipulate your movement the right way, you could force an enemy unit to have to split its attacks. Yeah. So it's a really interesting rule that has some bigger consequences, I think, on the fringes, right? But it certainly is one of their most powerful abilities, particularly when we get into the tides.
This is one of those rules that for the average casual player, it matters a great deal. For the high-level tournament player, they are going to twist this rule to their advantage in ways that are just going to infuriate people that are just used to shooting whatever they want off the board.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love it.
Oh, me too. I absolutely love that part of it. And it gets even better as we go. So the Tides of Death. So not much has really changed, you know, but there is a big improvement when we get to the rituals.
It's 3rd edition Tides. Yeah. You know, it's rewritten. It's just like the Nurgle Wheel. It's just rewritten for 3rd edition.
Yep.
So,
but it's so much better than the wheel.
Yeah. So the Tides of Death are basically Battle Round 1. Friendly Idoneth Deepkin units are treated as being in cover. Woo. So, yeah, you don't get shot off the board right away. Battle Round 2. In this battle round, friendly Idoneth Deepkin units can run and shoot in the same turn. Handy.
Well, it's not just shoot, it's or charge.
Or charge. Yes, you're right.
Run so you can run up and shoot, or you can run up and charge.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Woo, boy.
That's bonkers good, and it gets you in the scrap where you want to be.
Yep.
Because on turn 3, you know, I don't see how this is going to affect many games. In this battle round, the strike first effect, Core Rules 12.4, applies to friendly Idoneth Deepkin units, which means they fight first.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because they reference the core rules, if you have a war scroll that has strike first, your war scroll takes precedence over the book. So your unit will strike first over the Deepkin. But by and large, you're going to be striking first, which is really, really nice because you wasted your charge last turn. Now you still get to fight first again.
Yeah.
So it's like a double turn whammy, slammy, mamma.
Oh, yeah. And then Eptide is friendly Idoneth Deepkin units can retreat and still shoot or charge in the same turn. So you could see how it works. See? Yep. Get it? SEA. So, you know, as the tide comes in.
I see what you did there. Ooh.
Tide comes in, tide goes out. You don't know how it happens.
It's the moon.
So, yeah, I mean, it's straightforward. It's pretty great. Yeah. Round 1 is so good. I love it so much. And there is a way, I think it's a Warlord Trait or a Relic that lets you flip the tide.
You can flip it over. Yep.
And so that way you would go to Ebb Tide first.
Yep.
And then High Tide, Flood Tide, Low Tide, right? Which can be good.
In some games against some things, that could be really, really good. Especially like if you're going up against an army that wants to get into you more than you want to get into them, your Iron Jaws, anything that's going to move fast, Beast Claw Raiders that wants to hit you right away, it might make sense to flip it. That way you're doing the strike first to, you know, on that second turn. So
also something to consider too is, and we get to this with the Achillean King, which by the way, I'm calling the AK-47s because Achillean Kings are going to be mowing people down.
Yeah.
You have an ability that lets you act as if you were in High Tide.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, it's not like an auto take like it was before where you're like, oh, I need to flip my tides. That way I can turn 2, smash someone's face. Well, you can still turn 2, smash someone's face, and then turn 3, smash someone's face. And by the way, turn 4, smash someone's face if you have another Achillean King.
Yeah.
So we'll get into those.
We'll get into the King here later. He's kind of broke. I like him.
But there are some Isheron rituals which are really important in terms of flexibility of play, and it gives you incentive to take at least a Isheron model.
Yes.
Because if you take an Isheron model, barring the Tidecaster, you get 2, but you get 1 ritual which enhances one of the tides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there are 2 standouts here, but I'll read all of them.
Okay.
So Ritual of the Creeping Mist, which is my pick for number 1 in a shooting meta. But by the way, you don't have to pick these until you figure out who's going first and all that stuff. Like, it's literally like the most flexible rule you've ever had.
Yeah, in the first battle round, after players have received starting command points, but before the start of the first turn, you pick this. So you'll know what you're up against.
So Ritual of the Creeping Mist. Friendly Inet Deepkin units that are affected by the Low Tide ability cannot be picked as the target of a shooting attack unless the attacking model is within 12 inches of that unit.
Hi.
Yeah.
Your arrow proof.
Yeah.
Your sentinel proof. Your long strike proof. Your pistolier proof. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it is. And well, then I'll just get within 12 inches. By the way, attacking model. So you can't just tow one of your models in.
That's right.
All of them have to be literally within 12 inches.
Yes.
Go ahead and shoot whatever you're going to shoot, which is, by the way, probably just the thralls in the front because of Forgotten Nightmares.
Yeah.
And then the eels are coming out over the top.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so many good layers there. So
Yes.
that's so powerful. Next one is Ritual of the Surging Stream. Add 1 to run and charge rolls for friendly Inet Deepkin units that are affected by the Flood Tide ability. It's good.
It's your turn to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, little extra spice, but the third one is, contending with the first one. So Ritual Deep Sight, friendly Namarti units that are affected by the High Tide ability have a ward of 5+.
Oh my God. So not only are you getting stuck into combat, striking first, but then when they start hitting you back, you got your 5-up ward.
Yeah.
Hello.
And when we get to Dom Hain, we'll look at that wombo combo.
Okay, that's stupid. I don't even want to go there.
Ritual of the Spiteful Riptide. Before a friendly Inet Deepkin unit is selected by the Ebb-Tide ability retreats, roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of that unit. On a 4+, the enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So when you pull out in order to charge again, you can do a little mortal wound action.
Now that one's kind of hard because predicting how useful that's going to be at the beginning of the game is really hard. You don't know what the board state's going to be like in 4 turns.
No.
So that one's a really hard pick. I think that one's out. The other 3 are definitely all viable.
Oh, I totally agree. So, like, for example, if you've got, here's kind of how I think about it, assuming you can flip the tides, right? So you took that enhancement. So a lot of people are going to be playing Namarti Party, and you're going to be taking thralls, I think, no matter what. At least, a couple units of thralls. They're only 130 points for 10 with 2-inch reach on crazy weapons. Anyway, the ability to flip the tide, it all depends. So if you're dealing with a shooting army that's not looking to get into your front lines immediately, then that low tide ability, boom, pick every time. Every time.
This is going to be your Cities of Sigmar counter.
Exactly. And then if you've got the super aggro, you flip the tide and give yourself the 5+ ward on your Namarti.
Hello.
So that when they crash into you,
It's a party.
the wave crashes
For the
back.
party.
So, I mean, I just don't see how, the only shoot within 12 or the 5+ ward are just like not your go-tos.
Yeah.
The Tidecaster lets you pick 2, right?
Which
it's
is
a question
nice.
if you need 2, right? So I think that some might take the Tidecaster just for the flexibility of being able to, right? So let's say, I'm not dealing with a shooting army. I'm dealing with a melee-based army. If I get to go first, I don't have to worry about their shooting, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade round 2 so I can run and charge better, right? But that's some of the beauty and why I say there's so many answers, because there's so many strong abilities in this book that are determined when you want them to.
Yeah, and combining those with the tides means that if you are facing an army that relies on charges, again, your Iron Jaws, your Beast Claw, anybody that, or now Beast of Chaos, anybody that is designed around, I need to be charging you, you can be in their face before they can charge you and you're charging them.
Yep.
So you take that away from them. That's huge.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can play with that. And again, it's like tools in the toolbox. And because you don't have to pick it until the beginning of the game and you don't have to write it down, on your war scroll, it's super handy because you can figure out what you need to do. So it kind of makes it a little more idiot proof.
Yeah.
Like my kind of play, where I would I would write down the wrong one. So thankfully you pick it when you need it or as you need it. So.
And, like scenarios, people talk about like, well, Iron Jaws just run across the board and hit you, so why does it even matter? It's like, well, if you flip the tide, here's why it matters, because you start in the retreat and charge. So if you empower that one, you retreat off of Maw Crushes, that kind of stuff, throwing out mortal wounds. Then you can still charge in, and then you pop your Achillean King so everyone fights first.
Yeah.
Right? And then, next turn, everything fights first. So, like, it just has so much strategy baked into it. It's going to take, complex thought. It's not autopilot.
And yeah, that's it. You're going to have to know what you're up against. If you're up against that Iron Jaws player, you do a certain thing. But if you're up against Stormcast, you're going to do something much different. If you're going up against that group of dragons, you're going to want to think about how you turn that around to your advantage. So yeah, this is a thinking army. You can't just throw it on the table and go, wee.
Yeah, not like you used to before, whereas charge your Morsar guard, discharge the pikes, and then win.
And then move along. Yeah.
So, that was a diatribe. So let's get into our enhancements. So let's start with command traits, dealing with traits of the Achilleans, the Achillean heroes. These are the warriors. So,
okay, there's an ability on here that is freaking bonkers, and then the other two are pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think if it goes for me, it's Unstoppable Fury, Lord of Storm and Sea, Born from Agony. I think is the order I would select him in. But let's do the opposite. So Born from Agony, at the end of the battle shock phase, you can roll a dice for this general. On a 6, heal all wounds allocated to this general. It's not bad.
That's really, really strong if you are going up against somebody whose idea is to kill the general.
Yeah.
That could be super big.
But we're dealing with Achilleans are going to be either your Thrallmaster or your king.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the king only has like 7 or 8 wounds. So he could just get deleted all at once, but there's a way to get like a 2-up save, and just it's ridiculous for the...
And the thing is, this is at the end of the battle shock phase, both of them.
Yep.
So you're potentially have 10 rolls to bring your guy back to full health.
Yep.
So I like this one. I think I like that one the best. That's just me.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's the best in the book.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I like it the best.
Yeah, I mean, if you got someone who's going in not going to be susceptible to like overwhelming wounds, who can heal off pretty quick. I mean, the Killing Kings can do that. And it might be like a second or third enhancement for me.
Yeah.
Depending on what I'm doing. Lord of Storm and Sea is the second one. Do not take battle shock tests for friendly Undead Deepkin units only within 12 of this general. Battle shock community is a good thing.
It's a really good thing. However, I just want to preface that by saying it looks like across the board, the units got upped in bravery.
A little bit.
So,
and if you've got the aspect of the sea, it gives every, and we'll get to it more, but it gives every Undead Deepkin unit within range 10 bravery. So that's why I said, that one's very situational.
Very.
I think Unstoppable Fury is something you're going to see it all the time. So while this general is affected by the high tide ability from the Tides of Death table, for each enemy unit within 3 inches of them during the combat phase, add 2 to the attack characteristic of their melee weapons until the end of that phase.
Yeah.
They're hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s, Ren 3 damage, sword, or pike, I should say, because you charged in. That can be affected multiple times because the Killing King can give D3 units as if they were in high tide.
Yeah.
So
you can spring that almost the entire game.
Yeah.
So,
and within 3 inches, you charge 2 units. He's up to like what, 7, 8 attacks or something like that. 2s, Ren 3 damage. Like, whew.
Yeah. Oh. He can be a Vegematic.
Oh. Yeah, that's your aggro king, right? And I've seen it sort of like there's definitely a build out there where you take 3 kings, right? The 3 king build is happening, right? They're bringing, the incense, the myrrh, the gold, right? And that's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like we're going to see that build.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you will.
I'm sure there are people who are probably going to make 4 kings, right? Which is 4 king crazy.
Jeez, did you have to bring that? It was bad enough with the frankincense and myrrh, but wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You're all welcome. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sure that my wife heard that in the distance and I'm going to come home and she's just going to be like, I can't believe you said that.
I can't believe you did that.
Can't believe you 4 kings said that. So anyway. So then the Isheron have their own traits. Hunter, I'm not a big fan of a lot of these.
No.
I'm a big fan of the Endless Sea Storm we'll get to and the Eidolon. But so first one, Hunter of Souls, the start of the combat phase with the generals within 3 inches of an enemy hero or enemy unit champion. Roll a dice on a 3+ enemy hero unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Meh.
Merciless Raider, if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made by this general 6, that attack automatically wounds the target. Just the heroes that are like taking these are super fighty.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that. So here it is. Teaching of the Tearskull.
Yeah.
If the general is on the battlefield at the start of the first battle round, before priority is determined, you can declare the Tides of Death will be reversed for your army. If you do so, the Ebb Tide ability applies in the first battle round, the High Tide in the second, Flood Tide in the third, and Low Tide in the fourth. From the 5th battle round, the 4 Tides of Death are repeated in the same order, starting with Ebb Tide.
Yeah.
So there's your flip.
There's your your turn flip.
Traits of the Eidolons. Endless Sea Storm. Oh boy. Anyway, Ancient Pride. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon that targets this general is 1 or 2, that attack fails and the attack sequence ends. Really powerful.
Yeah,
really
that's kind of,
powerful.
a 33 and a third % chance of just, screw you.
Yeah.
I don't care about all your pluses.
Yeah,
So.
it just stops. Unmodified 1 or 2, like, I would have hit because I have +1 and I hit.
But I have
3.
rerolls. Yeah, but no, it stopped.
Yeah, it stopped.
Sorry.
By the way, these are Eidolons only.
Yes.
Nightmare Legacy is Aspect of the Storm only. At the end of the charge phase, you can pick the general to carry out a monstrous rampage, even though it's not a monster.
I like it. I mean, it's
all right.
It's something.
It's a thing. If you are given no other option, then maybe that one.
Yeah.
But Endless Sea Storm, Aspect of the Sea only. If this general successfully casts a spell that is not unbound, with an unmodified casting roll of 7+, this general can attempt to cast 1 extra spell in that phase.
Well, that's not very fair. Okay.
They don't have any pluses to cast.
No.
But that doesn't matter because this is unmodified 7s.
That's right.
Most spells are going to go off on a 6 or a 7, right? So let's say on average you roll 7s, right? You can cast, if you give Arcane Tome, you can get up to 6 casts. Not that you'll use that many. On average, I think you'll get 1 extra cast. But the thing is, it's not currently limited. So if you cast your extra spell on a 7+,
Right.
you get to cast again.
It tweaks again.
Yeah. And so that's why I say, like, if you take the Arcane Tome, you get 3 casts because it's a 2-cast wizard already. So you can get up to 6 total. You can only actually have 5. There's nothing in here that gives the Aspect of the Sea all of the spell lore.
Right.
Right. So I think that's sort of a limiter, but being able to cast its 2 War Scroll spells plus 1 off the spell lore plus Mystic Shield and Arcane Bolt.
That,
A little spicy.
ripping off 5 spells, you're getting up almost into, Nagash territory. Well, not really, but you're getting up there.
Oh, yeah.
So, and again, this is super, it's not going to pop all the time. It can't be unbound. The minute there's an unbind, it breaks. So if anybody has an auto unbind, over. But still super handy for the utility caster.
Oh, and just to throw it out there, the Eidolon of the Sea rerolls all casting, dispelling, and unbinding rolls.
Yes.
And also, on a successful cast, heals D3 wounds. So,
Oh my.
yeah. So you got to see where the combo starts going from there. We're not even to what the spells are. Getting to artifacts. So Achillean Heroes. Armor of Cathai takes it for me every single time. It's a ridiculous artifact.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
It's stupid.
I
love it.
So let's just I don't even really care about the other 2. The
No.
Potion of Hateful Frenzy is okay.
Yeah. It's not as good as this.
No, Armor of Cathai. If the unmodified hit roll for an attack that targets the bearer is 6, all effects that would be triggered by that roll are ignored.
Hello.
Yeah. Do you explode on 6s? No, you don't.
No.
Do you do mortals on 6s?
Yeah,
no,
no.
you don't. Do you do disease on 6s?
No.
No, you don't. What's important is it says attacks. It doesn't say melee only. So if if you somehow get the Achillean King caught out and you're trying to shoot him down with your bow snakes, well, that's going to suck because you can't do mortals to him.
Yeah. Bummer, huh? Now you're just a regular old unit.
Oh, no. Yeah, don't they hit on 4s?
Yeah.
So it's a little worse for you. Potion of Hateful Frenzy gives you a spike once per battle. Disharmony Stones once per battle.
Yeah.
You're taking Armor of Cathai. Or you're just, don't even look at anything else.
Yeah, the other 2 are once per battle things, and they're not going to affect the game as materially as that one, so don't even worry about them. You're taking the Armor of Cathai, whatever.
Yeah, I wonder how you do pronounce it. I think Cthulhu, Cathai.
Cathai,
right?
yeah.
In
this month's White Dwarf, there's another pronunciation guide. I'm like, oh God, I love it.
I love it.
They must be getting so tired of hearing all this different pronunciation. And you never heard anything like this before until, the last 10 years or so with social media and YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're watching some of these videos going, oh my God, that's not how to say that.
Exactly. Right?
So anyway.
It's Cathalar, not...
It's Cathalar.
It's not Cathalar.
It's Cathalar.
It's Cathalar.
It is not.
The person who read the book said it was Cathalar.
I don't care. They did it wrong.
Isharon artifacts. Again, none of these are really too spicy. We'll just go through them. So Dritch Leech. Subtract 1 from casting rolls, unbinding rolls, and dispelling rolls for enemy wizards within 18 inches. No effect on Eidolon Deepkin units. So if it's a enemy Eidolon Deepkin unit, it doesn't affect them.
Yeah.
Something to know.
Yeah, mirror match bad.
This one, actually, my bad, I take it back. This one's interesting. Rune of the Surging Gloomtide. Once per battle at the end of your movement phase, you can say the bearer will summon a Gloomtide shipwreck from the Ether Sea.
Yes.
If you do so, you can set up one Gloomtide shipwreck wholly within 12 inches of the bearer, more than 3 inches from all models, objectives, or other terrain features, endless spells and invocations, and add it to your army. So everyone remembers what it was like with the Gloomtide shipwreck.
Oh, split into two Oh, God.
Being the move blocking, hellacious thing to deal with. Well, it's back, folks. So all those people who sold their Gloomtide shipwrecks are probably a little sour because Gloomtides are amazing.
Yes.
We'll get to those rules later. You got Brain Barnacles once per battle at the start of the hero phase. You can pick one enemy hero within 12 inches and roll 2d6. If it's equal to or greater than the distance between the bearer and that enemy hero, subtract 1 from hit rolls, wound rolls. There's so many ifs. And it's once per battle.
Yeah. It's, anytime you see that wall of text preceded by once per battle, it's usually a loser.
Yeah.
So
now the Eidolon artifacts, I've heard some talk about these. I don't know if they're good enough for once per battle. I'm probably making sure that enhancement goes to my Armor of Cathai. But Bioshock Shell, once per battle at the start of the combat phase, you can say the bearer will use the Bioshock Shell. If you do, pick one enemy hero within 9 inches. That's visible and roll 3d6. If the roll is greater than that enemy hero's bravery characteristic, the strike last effect applies to that enemy hero until the end of that phase.
Again,
Yeah.
Once per battle, super situational, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, your enhancements are best spelled elsewhere.
War Shell, once per battle at the start of the combat phase, you can say the bearer will unleash the power of the Whirl Shell. If you do so, to the end of that phase, the modified hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon that targets the bearer is 1 or 2, that attack fails and the attack sequence ends. So,
Where have I seen that before?
I know. Why would I take the command ability as a once per game relic?
Yeah.
I could probably manage my resources a little bit better.
Slightly. That one's a trap. That's a throwaway.
Yeah. Kraken Tooth is just so funny. It's another once per battle, but it's a Kraken reference, so it's really fun. So it's in your shooting phase. Pick one enemy unit within 12 inches and visible. Roll a dice on a 1. None binds the Kraken, and the bearer suffers D3. 2 to 5, the Kraken is released, and the target suffers D3 mortal wounds. Or on a 6, pick one model from the target unit. If that model's wounds characteristic of less than 10, it is slain.
Bye.
If it has a characteristic of 10 or more, they suffer 2d6 mortal wounds. Which is kind of funny to me because, it could be a 9-wound hero instantly slain.
Yeah.
It could be a 10-wound hero and you do 2 mortal wounds.
Yeah, it's this is a Kraken, and it has to be within 12 inches. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's one of the tentacles, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of, that one's an interesting one. It's kind of funny. Again, once per battle, hate that.
Me too. Well, we got mount traits. And mount traits are
why?
So spicy. Void Chill Darkness is still exactly what you want it to be. But anyway, you can pick one Deepmare and one Leviathan in your army to have one of the following mount traits.
Yes.
So
it's kind of nice.
So I read that as I get 2 mount traits, one for each mount type. So Swift Finned Impaler, Deepmare only. If the roll for the unit's Deepmare horn ability is 6, the target suffers D6 mortal wounds instead of D3.
Nice.
All right. Savage Ferocity, Deepmare only. Add 1 to attack characteristic of the unit's fangs and talons and its lashing tails.
Okay.
All right.
I'll take that.
Here's what you will take every time, Bill.
Every time.
Void Chill Darkness, Deepmare only. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made by enemy units that are within 3 inches.
Is that like a bubble of -1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess you don't have to take it.
No. But hello.
Leviathan. Ancient Leviathan only. If the rank characteristic of a weapon used for an attack that targets the unit is -1, change it to nothing for that attack.
Ignore Ren 1. Very nice.
Not too bad. Next one's a little spicy. Leviathan, or Denizens of the Darkest Depths. Leviathan only. Subtract 1 from wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target this unit that have a damage characteristic of 1.
Which is really going to be nice if you know you're going to get screened out by a lot of crap mobs.
Yeah.
If you know the what's his name? The orc mobs are just going to surround you and try to poison you to death. Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Whatever, people.
Well, the Reverberating Carapace is probably the one that folks would take. Leviathan only increase the range of the unit's Void Drum ability from 12 to 15. The Void Drum is that aura ability it gives off. It's super good.
See, I was thinking for the Leviathan, you'd go with the Darkest Depths, the Denizen, the subtract 1. If it has a damage of 1, that way you're basically horde proof. You're screen proof, or you're screen proofing, not, it doesn't negate the wounds. It's -1, which is, that's a big swing on a D6.
Yeah, I mean, subtracting 1 from the wound rolls,
Yep.
pretty big. But it's only if it's a damage characteristic of 1, right?
Yeah.
So
your
good
cruel
against
boys.
hordes.
Yeah, just the little stuff that's gonna stop your Leviathan and do chip damage to it.
Yeah.
You don't want that. So this helps you get rid of it. That to me was the one that stuck out for Leviathans.
All right, spell lores, lore of the deep. Eineth, Deepkin, hero, wizard, including unique units only. Steed of Tides, love it. Steed of Tides is a spell with casting value of 5. If cast, pick one friendly hero that is not a monster, that is within range, which is 6 inches, and visible to the caster. Remove that hero from the battlefield and set it up again on the battlefield more than 9 inches from all enemy units. Units set up with this ability cannot move in the following movement phase.
Hello, reposition.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this hero where I need it.
It's a really good spell to throw in there if you have an extra. I mean, that's repositioning is so much fun.
Well, with the speed and everything that you have with a lot of things, you know, like you could send up your Eels, Alapexes, and Achillean King and then port up your Eidolon.
Yeah.
That way you could just be like, poof, I'm here.
Yeah.
By the way, here's my spell that reduces your save not save characters, your save roll by 3. We'll get to that in
Yeah.
a minute. Counter Current. Spell with a casting value of 6 and a range of 18. If cast, pick one enemy unit within range invisible. Until your next hero phase, have run rolls and charge rolls for that unit.
Hello, fulminators.
Spicy. Spicy. You know, the Corn Demon Prince has to pop it off with the command ability.
Yeah.
Right? And this is like the same thing.
Yeah, this is a 6-up spell.
Yeah.
So, very
Your
nice.
Eidolon, re-rolling, auto-modified casts. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Pressure of the Deep. It's okay. It's spicy, but it's okay. Casting value of 7, range of 12. Pick one enemy model within range as visible to the caster and roll a dice. If the result is greater than that model's wound characteristics, the model is slain. So, little 5 wound heroes, sometimes 4 wound heroes in Cities of Sigmar. It's just sort of like, pop, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be your 4th spell you take.
Yeah. Arcane Corrasion is really cool. I'm probably taking this every time.
Yes.
But it's between this and Steed of Tides. Countercurrent's also great, which is why you're going to want multiple casters probably.
Oh, you're going to have them, yeah, probably.
Arcane Corrasion, if it's a spell, is casting value of 6, range of 12. If cast, pick one enemy unit within range invisible. Worsen the rend characteristic by 1 until your next hero phase.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
You
I'm
know,
okay with
especially when you're looking at Beast of Chaos and all that stuff that are getting automatic extra rend.
Just for
I
showing
swear
up to the
God,
party.
I had to read that like 3 times when I was going through this because I'm like, that should be corrosion, not corrasion.
Yeah.
What the hell is corrasion?
Everyone says corrosion too when you're watching people talk about it.
Yeah, but they spell it the same way twice, so they mean it.
Yeah.
It's not a typo. So
Yeah. Yeah, so those are the enhancements. A lot of strong options in there. There's definitely an Achillean King that you can make. There's just, like you said, a straight up Vegematic.
bonkers.
It's going to shred through everything. Now we're on to the Enclaves. So we got 6 Enclaves. I like what they did here because before it was, here's your artifact, here's your command trait, all those
that crap's
things.
gone.
It's what we've been seeing consistent with the other books. It's broken down. It's very clear what they're trying to do with each Enclave.
I was even able to write down on my sticky notes who goes with what.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's really handy. If you're playing X, you're going to take Enclave X.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So there's some good options. I think that there are 3 of them that are in the mix for me. I think my top picks are Feuthon and Dom Hain, but Morphon's also in there as well for Namarti parties. But
Yep.
they all have something. You know?
Yeah, that's it. If you want to go hard on the Leviathans, you're going to bring Nautilor. If you want to do some deep striking, Brumdar.
Brilmdar, yeah.
Yeah, and then Iron Rack is, of course, just your generalist. If you don't want to make a choice, you take Iron Rack because then you get a, an extra command ability. So anyway, let's go through these.
Yeah. So Iron Rack, Legacy of Glory, you can carry out this heroic action. So they get an additional heroic action.
I said a command ability. It's heroic action.
With friendly Iron Rack Achillean hero instead of any other heroic action you can carry out. So it's instead of, not in addition to. If you do so, pick one friendly Iron Rack Achillean unit wholly within 12 inches of the hero. Until the end of the turn, you can choose for that unit to be affected by either the Flood Tide or Ebb Tide ability from the Tides of Death, in addition to any other abilities from the Tides of Death they are affected by.
To me, that's the key. In addition.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love it. So you can get some crazy combo going.
Yeah. Like, for example, you got a enemy unit that crashed into your front line. You're like, you're affected by Ebb Tide now because I also took the retreating mortal wounds.
Yep.
Right? Retreat, charge back in, kill the Maw Crusher.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds. You get to jump out, jump in. So next up is Nautilor. Its ability is Crushing Assault. You can carry out this monstrous rampage with a friendly Nautilor Leviathan instead of any other monstrous rampage you can carry out with that Leviathan. If you do so, change the Rend characteristic of that Leviathan's massive scythe fins and crushing jaws to -3 until the next combat phase. You're praying to get double turned. Yeah. Anyway, so if you're going Nautilor, which is going to be where you bring your big hunkers, this is almost an auto take, a must have, because
it's also where you get them battle line, right?
Yeah, you get Leviathan's battle line.
With how many points they cost, if you're taking more than one, you're probably going to be Nautilor, because it's 1,000 points for 2 models.
1,500 for 3. Yeah, it's you're definitely going this route, and it just gives you an extra monstrous rampage that's really, really good.
Yeah, no, it's pretty darn good.
Yep.
Particularly if you got multiples, that way you can sort of figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
More fun.
More fun?
More fun, yeah. Or Morphin. It's Morphin time.
Mighty Morphin. Yeah.
Soul Magic Adepts. At the Allure Light ability of a friendly Morphon Soul Render affects a friendly Morphon Namarti unit. Add 3 to the number of slain models that are returned to that unit. It's usually D3, so D3 plus 3 models come back.
Nice.
Yeah, if you're hoarding up, that's pretty solid, though. What Dom Hain offers might be a little bit better.
Yeah, this to me is, of the 6, it's the, I don't know.
I like it for just bodies on the table.
Yeah.
Right? And keeping bodies on the table, particularly with Forgotten Nightmares. They're not going to be able to pick off your Soul Render. You're just like, nope, come back.
And if you're facing an attrition army that's going to just grind you down, this is where you're going to want to go. This is going to work real well against Nurgle.
Yeah.
So, because they're going to be trying to grind you down, and any excuse to put stuff back is good.
Yeah.
So, okay, then we have Fuethon or Fuethane, whatever. It's Futhan. They have Bloodthirsty Shiver. This is for your sharks.
Oh, yeah.
You can include Bloodthirsty Shivers in your army, which is on page 96. At the start of the combat phase, you pick 1 unit from each Bloodthirsty Shiver in your army. If you do so until the end of the phase, if the unmodified hit roll for the attack made with that unit's ferocious bites is 6, the attack scores 2 hits on the target instead of 1. Make a wounded save roll for each hit. If the attacking unit is within 3 inches of 1 or more units from the same shiver, the ferocious bite scores 3 hits on an unmodified 6. So Bloodthirsty Shivers are something new added here, which lets you take your sharks as units of 3 as individual units.
Correct.
So makes them super flexible, and it plays right into this rule, which means that if you're grouped up in a group of 3, you're basically going to be doing 3 wounds on a 6.
Yep.
Okay.
And they count as battle line.
Hello.
Yeah.
So if you are going sharks, this is a must take.
Oh, there's going to be shark.list out there for sure.
Reading that, I was just like, oh man, I want to do sharks. I really, I'm not going to do it. My wife does IDK, not me. But man, it would be fun to do a shark army.
Yeah.
So anyway,
just straight up sharks and Achillean kings.
Yeah.
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 And some of what they can do is so great with when there's like blood in the water.
Oh,
they just
man,
they go
just
crazy.
Frenzy. Yeah, well, they're sharks.
Yeah.
Just think shark.
All right, so Dom Hain, it's one of these walls of text that when you read it, it's actually good. Right?
Yes.
Instead of like,
truly,
it doesn't seem like a bunch of ifs, but there's some ifs, but the ifs are good. So if you take the first turn in the current battle round, your combat phase after friendly Dom Hain Namarti unit has fought for the first time in that phase. If there are no enemy units within 3 inches of that Dom Hain Namarti unit, you can attempt to charge with that unit if it was within 12 inches of any enemy units. And if that Dom Hain Namarti unit finishes that charge move within half an inch of the enemy unit, you can pick that unit to fight for a second time in that phase when it is your turn to do so. If you take the second turn in the current battle round, When a friendly Domhain hero issues the redeploy command to a friendly Domhain Namarti unit, you can pick up to 3 friendly Namarti units to be affected instead of just 1. So
huge wall of text that basically says if you charge something and wipe it out, you get to charge again.
yeah.
I mean, it's super simple and wow.
Yeah.
That is flippin' strong. So,
It is. And that's the thing with the Thralls is they're on 32 mil bases, but they have a 2-inch reach with their giant swords and axes.
You betcha.
Right? You know, when I saw that, I was like, wow, they actually said those big swords have a 2-inch reach, which apparently the Stormcast never got that memo.
They did not.
No.
And Sigmar just, come on, dude.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just that the swords don't look cool enough, so they don't have the reach. I don't know.
That could be it.
Bromdar is just super straightforward. Is your Soulscryer can take an extra unit, and they can deploy within 12 instead of 9. So you can take 3 units instead of 2, deploy 12 inches instead of 9 within the range of the Soulscryer. Soulscryer, a little hidden gem on its war scroll is it's a priest.
Yes.
That's big.
And the nice, the reason you would shoot this is if you want to have that deep strike ability, or if you think you're going to need it, i.e. someone's going to commit, this is super, super good. And if it's your playstyle, obviously you have to make this choice long before you see what's coming at you. But if you're into that deep striking and that repositioning thing, you're going to have access to it. Very nice. Very, very nice. So that would be...
Stormcaster, cool.
Damn it, Elric. Why do you always intrude? Okay, anyway.
Yeah, so that's the Enclave stuff. Just to sort of round out the...
You want to go to the grand strategies? And
I was going to say,
okay.
round out the match play stuff.
Yep.
So grand strategies, I think they get 4.
Yes,
grand
4
strategies. So, Achillean Pursuit. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if there are 3 or more friendly Achillean units wholly within enemy territory. That could happen if you're alive. The Creeping Gloomtide. When the battle ends, you complete the grand strategy if there are any Gloomtide shipwrecks in your army on the battlefield, and all of them are more than 3 inches from all enemy units. That could happen. I was thinking it sort of backfires if you're trying to use the Isheron relic to set up another Gloomtide.
Yeah.
Because then you have to babysit 2 pieces of terrain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dominion of the Deep Ones. When the battle ends, you complete this grand strategy if the only monsters on the battlefield are friendly Leviathans. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They just go, I'm going to kill the Leviathan now. I'm going to just focus everything until I kill that. So, 3 points. But then again, it's distraction card effects. That thing is a 10-inch move. It flies. It can reduce wound rolls. Like, it has a way to survive. Namarti Assault. When the battle ends, you gain this grand strategy of 2 or more friendly Namarti units are within 3 inches of any enemy units, or if the only battle line units on the battlefield are friendly Namarti units. Which the first half of that I don't like because it means that the enemy unit has to survive.
Yeah.
So you have to just sit there and have a pillow fight for the last turn.
You're being incentivized to not destroy, and again, you're at the fate of the dice now. What if you roll all hits? Okay, so I mean, to me, the dead given on that one is the first one, Achillean Pursuit. 3 or more friendly Achillean units wholly within enemy territory.
You get done, especially if you're doing Shark Week or Eel Spam. Any of those are primed for that.
Yeah, and keep in mind that's only Achillean units. That's not the Reavers and Thralls and
Achillean's gonna be Alapexes. It's gonna be your eels, Sharks. And it's gonna be your king.
Sharks, eels, and kings. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Leviathan.
Oh, duh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're playing that route, that's a given. All the rest of those, I'm not sure they're up there with the book.
No.
They're very situational, and some of them are very hard to, like you said, the Creeping Gloomtide is, you're penalized basically for doing one of your abilities.
Yeah.
So, no. So, yeah, moving on to battle tactics. These are the once a turn things. First one up is Assassins of the High Tide. You complete this battle tactic if 2 or more enemy units are destroyed during this turn by attacks made by friendly Idoneth Deepkin units that are affected by the High Tide ability. So this is not really limited to turn 3 because you can give people High Tide, especially from the king. Yep. So don't think this is just a turn 3 ability. I'll cover the first 3. You can have the back 3.
Sounds good.
Predators of the Deep. Pick 1 unit in your opponent's starting army that is on the battlefield that has a wounds characteristic of 8 or more and has 0 wounds allocated to it. You complete this tactic if that unit is destroyed during this turn by a friendly Achillean Alapex's unit. Scratch. You'll never use it.
Unless you're running Shark Week. If you're running Shark Week, you'll be okay.
Even still, you're basically throwing fate to the dice.
Yeah.
So, no. Revenge of the Nemarti. You complete this battle tactic if an enemy hero or monster is destroyed during this turn by an attack made by a friendly Nemarti unit.
Yep.
You can pick and choose that one. Yeah.
Yeah. All day.
Yep.
Deny trespassers. Pick one Gloomtide shipwreck in your army that is within 12 inches of any enemy units. You complete this battle tactic if that Gloomtide shipwreck is more than 12 inches from all enemy units at the end of this turn.
I think everyone has that one.
It's a little corny, right?
Yeah.
Trapped in the Undercurrents. You complete this battle tactic if 3 or more friendly Eidolon units retreated and made a charge move during this turn. Oh, I'm in Ebb Tide.
Wait. Doesn't that just play into one of my... Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
A given.
And then you roll double ones even with the rerolls.
That would be me.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Andrew did that once, right?
Yeah.
Isheron Defiance. When you reveal this battle tactic, pick one objective wholly within enemy territory. At the end of this turn, you complete this battle tactic if you control the objective and there is a friendly Isheron unit within 6 inches of that objective. Isheron are your foot heroes. I don't know, unless you teleport.
They're squishy, but yeah, you could teleport one up. Again, situational, but this is one of those ones that if you're looking at the top of the turn and you're like, oh, I could do that, then yeah, for sure, take it. But there's probably a better choice out there.
I just think it's so funny. Like, that would totally be like one of those steal tactics that you do where you're playing and like no one's paying attention to the Tidecaster who casts, the Steed of Tides early on. And then, oh, wait, that backfield objective isn't being, all right, so I'm going to pick that. Boop, I'm here.
Yeah. But yeah, I win.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. Well, the Soul Scryer pops on. So
I won.
That's something to consider too.
Yep.
All right. So Path to Glory.
So yeah, that's lame. Are we even going to cover that?
Yeah, I guess we could always. No, we are going to talk about it. So Path to Glory. I'm going to say this before I get into this, and I know we're not talking about Fire Slayers right now, but I think Fire Slayers have the coolest Path to Glory.
Way.
It is so awesome. It is so awesome, which I'm here for. I love when they do those really good narrative enhancements. We're going to talk about Fire Slayers next time, but I really like what they did. This is fun.
This one, I think, really plays into the idea, the soul collection for the Eidolon, and it really leans heavily into it. So, I mean, it's good. This one, I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
If you're an Eidolon player, you're going to have a lot of fun working this Path to Glory.
And it does things you want to do, which is kill their units, right?
Yeah.
So, quota of souls. Each time an enemy unit is destroyed by an attack made with a melee weapon by a friendly Eidolon unit, you could say that warriors will attempt to steal their souls. If you do so, roll a number of dice for the enemy unit as described below. Each of these rolls is called an extraction. For each 4+, a soul from the destroyed unit is successfully stolen, and your soul quota is increased by 1. And so if you destroy a hero or monster, you get 2d6 extraction rolls. So you roll 2d6, roll that number of dice afterwards. Wound characteristic of 3 or more, not a hero or monster. Hello, Stormcast.
Yeah.
6.
6 rolls.
Wound characteristic of 2 or less, 3 rolls. So that's for each unit, right?
So your average paladin, your average whatever is getting you 6 rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm dating now. The limiter here is it's got to be with melee weapons. You got to be right in there. You can't be shooting stuff.
Yep. But I mean,
But most of your army is going to be getting in there meleeing anyway.
I mean, I think your best shooting is on the Sharks and Leviathan because the Reavers, they're okay.
Yeah, but you're only using that to soften it up before you go in. So.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you take them down to one model, from shooting and then you charge in and kill it, same difference. That's still, 3, 6, or 2d6.
Yep.
Gifts of the soul. Here's where you use the souls. Why am I collecting souls? What do I get out of it? It actually just helps you in the aftermath sequence.
Yes.
In a significant way.
Yes. And, lore-wise, this is what the Eidolon Deepkin are after, is they're trying to put their souls back.
Right.
Or get souls. Little do they know. And, let me take a quick break here because I want to go back to the lore section of this book. Yeah. They really tied it in with the Broken Realms books.
Oh, yeah.
And the association with Morathi and Morathi saying, I'll help. I know how to do souls. I'm really good at souls. So, yeah, you know this. And, you know, they made it a point
Yep.
to talk about how she's not talking about her alliance with the Eidolon Deepkin with Sigmar. So, I mean, it's just everything they write basically makes Sigmar look dumber and dumber all the time. You can't figure out that okay. Let's go on the path to glory.
So gifts of the soul raids. During step 2 of the Aftermath sequence, you can spend souls from your soul quota to improve casualty rolls for a unit or to determine the outcome of an injury roll. So before you make a casualty roll for a 9-net Deepkin unit, if your soul quota is 3 or more, you can subtract D3 from your soul quota to reduce the number of dice you must roll for that casualty roll by 1. Love it.
Very nice.
Absolutely love it. You can based on what I'm seeing here, you can only do it once.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like once you trigger the roll, that's when it happens, but you can do it for each roll. So I can't stack it multiple times for a single roll to negate all dice.
Right, but you can
Soften
do it
them a lot.
across the board for all the unit or all the heroes.
Exactly. And a similar thing before you make
units.
yes. Well, the injury roll for the heroes, that's the big one.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So before you make an injury roll for a 9-net Deepkin unit, if your soul quota is 3 or more, you can subtract D3 from your soul quota to treat that injury as a minor injury.
Yeah.
Not roll the dice.
Nice.
So, oh crap, my hero's going to suffer a major. Nope. I shoved some souls up. I shoved some souls down his mouth, and he's okay.
You were going to say something different.
It totally wasn't intentional. But then also during step 7 of the Aftermath sequence, each time you recuperate a unit that has suffered casualties or reinforce a unit on your order of battle, you can spend souls from your soul quota instead of glory points to meet the cost of doing so. In such cases, 1 soul is equivalent of 1 glory point, and you can spend any combination of souls and glory points to meet the cost. And
That is broken. That right there is broken. I kill a unit of paladins. I'm rolling 6 dice. I need 4s or more. Chances are I'm going to get 3 minimum. That's 3 freaking glory points right there.
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Hello. So nice. So nice.
Now, one thing to keep note of. After the end of the Aftermath sequence, your soul quota goes to 0 because you give up the souls.
And that's but you're saving your glory by using souls.
Yeah.
So you're basically let me tell you, just, helpful hint right now, use all the freaking souls right there and save the glory for later. Holy crap, this is good.
It sounds like you've been playing a Dark Souls game, Bill.
No.
Use all your souls up front.
I can quit at any time.
So we've got quests.
4 of them.
4 of them. So I'll do 2, you do 2.
Okay.
All right, so Shelled Colossus. Pick 1 Leviathan from your order of battle that does not have a mount trait, and pick 1 mount trait for the Bond Beast traits table on page 69. Nice. Note those down in your quest log. At the end of Path to Glory battle, you complete this quest if that Leviathan destroyed any enemy units during the battle. When you complete this quest, you can add the mount trait you picked to your vault, but it can only be given to the Leviathan you picked when you embarked on this quest. Standard mount trait or monster thing that you can get.
Yep.
Right? Then I'll do Essential Soul Raids. Write down that you're undertaking this quest in the quest reward section of your quest log. At the end of each Path to Glory battle, add 1 quest point to the progress section of your quest log if you want a minor victory, and 3 if you want a major. Once you've gained 3 or more quest points, you can fight the Path to Glory battle using the Reaping Battle Plan. If you win a minor or major in that battle plan, you complete this quest. The rewards of completing this quest are listed in the battle plan. I love that they do this, by the way. So Reaping's just super quick. Idneth are attacking a settlement. There's Settlement Edge, Guardian's Territory. Idneth deploy on the top and lower quarter of the board. Guardian's Territory is all in the middle. The Guardian can set up a faction terrain feature as well. And then essentially Glorious Victory. You win a major victory if 2 or more groups of civilians have been reaped when the battle ends. So what it says for terrified civilians in this battle, the objective markers are referred to as population markers, and each represents a group of civilians. The Guardian must move each population marker in their movement phase. If the closest unit to a population marker before it is moved is a unit from the Guardian's army, then the Guardian can move that marker up to 6 inches. If the closest unit to a population marker before it is moved is a unit from the Idneth player's army, then the Guardian must move that marker in a straight line as far as possible up to 6 inches directly away from that unit. So you have a bunch of these little
Yeah, you got
townsfolk
people
running away
around.
scared. Like, It's just super fun, right?
But the victory reward for the player, the Eidolon player, if you win the battle in step 7 of the aftermath sequence, you can reduce the casualty score of 1 unit on your order of battle to 0. Ooh. Hello. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh man, my 30 unit of Namarti Thralls was down to 14.
Yeah. No, it's 30.
No, it's 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
30. And then at the end of the battle, each unit on the battlefield gains 1 renown point.
Yay. Well, there's got to be a bonus for the other guy. So,
all right.
That's an interesting, involved quest. I kind of like how they're making some of these quests be more than do this, get that. Yeah. Do this, get that. Some of these are actually, you have to do a few things and, it becomes narrative. You have to play a certain battle plan after you do this. And so your other player has to buy into that. Yeah. So next up is Soul Skirmish. At the end of a Path to Glory battle, you complete this quest if you want a major victory and have at least 3 friendly Eidolon Deepkin units on the battlefield. When you complete this quest, increase your soul quota by 1 for each friendly Eidolon Deepkin unit on the battlefield. So, super bonus for beating the crap out of someone.
That really feels like, I'm pretty comfortable with where I am with my army, but I want to reinforce more or heal more or something like that. And you're like, hey, man, you want to play a game real quick?
You want to do a pickup?
Yeah.
Yeah. The last of the quests is Fat of the Land. All right. At the end of a Path to Glory battle, you complete this quest if you won a major victory and your soul quota number is 12 or more souls. So you have to have, done pretty well in that battle. When you complete this quest, in the next Path to Glory battle you fight against an opponent who is using Path to Glory army, you can heal D3 wounds allocated to each friendly Eidolon Deepkin unit on the battlefield at the start of each of your hero phases.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Talk about, oh my God. Oh my God. Now, it has to be set up. You can't just take this quest when you're going to get a lot of, or you have a lot of soul points because they go away.
Yeah.
So it's very situational to have this on your quest log. But if you do it, the next fight is pretty much a bonus fight for you. So, yeah, that's super good. I could see people arguing with you if they're the player that's in the game that is affected by this rather than the one that got you this. I could be like, well, why the hell are you healing 3? I didn't do anything. So
no, it's the guy before you.
Yeah, no, the guy before you was a scrub. So you lose.
Here's the spicy one. Here's the spicy wombo combo quest style. Fat of the Land. And then in the next one, you take the quest for Soul Skirmish.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, I'm healing everything, so everything's going to stick around, and then I can build my army.
And then I have 42 souls.
Yeah. Dear God. Dear God. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Oh, man.
This is so good.
We're gaming narrative.
But again, this is one of those things where, just keep in mind that you're doing all these crazy things. If you're playing Path to Glory, the other guy probably is too.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's get into veteran abilities real quick. Eidolon Deepkin veteran abilities. Soul Harvesters. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. When it does so, increase your soul quota by 1 for each enemy model slain by an attack made by that unit in that phase.
Hey, if you're doing Fat of the Land, that's going to be really good. I'm just saying.
Abyss Dwellers. This unit can use a veteran ability once per battle at the start of the charge phase. When it does so until the end of that term, this unit is affected by the Hive Tide ability, in addition to any other abilities from the Tides of Death table it's affected by, even if it is not the appropriate battle round.
So you mean I could have the retreat, free charge? Okay, screw that. I'm not playing you.
Oh, man. That's why I'm playing Beasts. Tsunami Strikers. This unit can use this veteran ability once per battle at the start of the combat phase. When it does so, until the end of that phase, if the unmodified hit roll for an attack made with a melee weapon by the unit is 6, it scores 2 hits instead of 1. All right.
Okay.
None of these, I'm looking at all of them, none of these are limited.
No.
By unit.
Right.
Flash Fled Militia. This veteran ability can use once per battle at the start of the hero phase. When it does so, until the end of that turn, the unit is affected by the Flood Tide ability in addition to any others. Nice.
That's, again,
+1 to run and charge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Summoner is the Gloom Tide. Uses veteran ability to start at first hero phase. When it does, you can set up a Gloom Tide shipwreck feature. Consists of 1 scenery piece, wholly within 12 inches of this unit and more than 3 inches from all other objectives and terrain features. What?
Yes.
You could take these veteran abilities on multiple people.
Okay.
Holy crap, the Summoners of Gloomtide doesn't say once per battle.
No, it does not. At the start of your first hero phase, when it does,
I mean, it's functionally once per battle, but I think that means I could have multiple units with Summoners of the Gloomtide.
Yeah. Dear God. The next one's just as dumb. Ritual Practitioners. This unit has the Master of the Ethersea ability from the Ishran Tidecaster War Scroll. And if you look back, it's if units with this ability are part of your army, you can pick 2 different rituals to influence the Ethersea during battle round instead of 1. Mm-hmm. So, hello, I get all the bennies. Yeah, again, this is one of those things that... Now, this is not match play, thank God.
Yeah, right.
But when you pull this off, you are literally saying, I have all the benefits of all the tides on a single unit for a turn.
So, hear me out.
I don't want to.
So, I know it's at the start of the hero phase, right? I'm assuming with like timing, it all depends if your timing allows you to cast a spell first. Because if you could Steeds of the Tides up the board and then just drop a freaking shipwreck on someone, Jesus and then you have like multiple units dropping shipwrecks, like
it's raining boats. What the freaking hell?
Especially if you've got a flying cavalry army and you're just like, there's boats everywhere, man. You can't even do anything. It's like, and then we fly over the boats, and the boats give a 5-up ward save, by the way, if you're all in 6 inches. It's dumb. No one has that many boats. No one has time for that.
This is just dumb. I mean, wow.
Territories. These are interesting because some of them just don't do crap for you.
Yes.
So 61, Pitch Black Abyss cannot be controlled.
Waste.
Which sucks.
Because, you're rolling that roll and you see that 6 and you're like, yeah, me. Oh, God, it's a 1.
Roll a 1. Crap. But 62, Concealed Whirlway. It can't be controlled, but you can pick any other territory from this table to control instead.
Which is handy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Not at all. Undersea Volcano, you can never have more than 1 territory. No effect until upgraded, which costs you 10 GP. Aethersea Stream. During deployment in the battle, Path to Glory battle, if you set up reserve units, you can set up 1 friendly item at the beginning as a reserve unit in addition to any other units you set up as reserve units. If you do so at the end of the movement phase, you can set up that unit on the battlefield more than 7 inches.
Wait a minute, 7? Did you say? But everybody sets up 9.
I know.
7 is like cheating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. So that's why Stormcast do it.
Damn it.
Deserted Island, you can never have more than 1 of this. In step 4 of the Aftermath, roll a dice if you won a major victory. On a 3+, add 1 to the number of quest points you gain towards your quest.
The only problem I have with that is most major victories give you 3 quest points anyway. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's, oh God, who had that? There's something where you need like 10 quest
yeah,
points.
there's a
Beast of
couple
Chaos,
out there.
right?
Yeah, but these guys don't have it.
Seamount Overlook, you can never have more than 1 territory. Reduce the cost of doing so each time you upgrade a territory, reduce the cost of doing so by D3 glory. I'll take that all day.
To a minimum of 0. Nice.
15 GP, you can make 2 exploration rolls in the Aftermath sequence.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm going to botch this, but Troilium C?
Carillium Plateau?
Carillium Plateau, sorry. Carillium?
I think it's Carillium. Yeah, I think that's a...
Carillion?
I think
Carillion
it's a K, not a Ch. Yeah, Carillium.
Carillion? Okay. Trying to make a Star Wars joke, Bill.
It's not working. These are Tidecasters.
No effect until upgraded. You can never have more than 1 territory. Upgrade 10 GP. Rooted Soul Reef. At the start of the Aftermath sequence, you add 3 to your soul quota.
Hello. Gee, and if I have 3, I can use it to... Okay, forget that. This is stupid.
Nothing as spicy as the corn ignoring spells on a 5.
Jesus.
But here's what's super fun of this next page. Last page of Path to Glory and narrative portions. The... all those little gribblies that you see that, you can clip off and put on your bases and everything.
They named them.
They named them. So you've got your Dritchleech, your Moon Orbilar, your Malefic Screet, your Shraskiel, Snapping Bron, Phantasmaray, Hippocampus, Juvenile Quadtar, Zephyrfish, Shellfort Crab, Dire Brine, Angler, and the Whirl Scuttler.
Kind of interesting that they did something like this. Hey, we have half a page. What can we do? Hey, let's name all these little critters that are on all of our bases and on all of our models. Very cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Then they also have a name generator. Always love me a name generator.
Oh yeah, those are so good. Although,
actually, looking at the name generator, they have the Sea Beast familiars. And so if you wanted to figure out how am I going to model the little gribblies on my base, let me roll a dice.
there's the thing
Roll 2
right
dice.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. D12.
I like it.
Pop. That's fun. That could
It's
be
really good.
That can make for some really dynamic type of structuring. Now, we're not going to go through all these.
No, we're not going to go through the units. Yeah.
I'm just going to mention a couple standouts because I really need to mention the Eidolon Amathlon's Tsunami of Terror, which is like one of the most powerful abilities it's got, which is it's cast on a 7, range of 12. Again, you can reroll. If it's cast, you pick up to D3 enemy units within range, invisible, subtract 1 from save rolls for attacks made with melee weapons that target that unit. And it's written with the D3 units, not D3 different units.
Yeah.
So you could be like, hey, screw that Mega Gargant, -3 to your save roll.
Yeah.
And good night.
Yeah. I mean, I like it.
I like it a lot. Aeidolon King we've talked about, and to touch on again, the Lord of Tides reads once per battle at the end of your charge phase. You can pick up to D3 different friendly Deepkin units all within 12 inches of any friendly units with this ability. If you do so until the end of the turn, the units you pick are affected by the High Tide ability from the Tides of Death, in addition to any other abilities that they're affected by.
In addition.
So, as written currently, and I'm sure an FAQ is going to fix this, but currently, multiple Aeidolon Kings give you multiple bites at this apple.
Yeah.
And frankly, even as it's written too, is I could trigger the ability on my Aeidolon King on the left side of the board and project it from the one on the right, is currently how it's written. So probably should FAQ that because that's so powerful. FAQ, not going to come out before Adepticon. So
Nope.
So I'm pretty sure that's how people are going to be trying to play it. Volturnos still does Volturnos things where he adds one of the attack characteristic for models during the combat phase. It's 3 different friendly units, so that's great. Aeidolon King, I think you're taking the bladed polearm every time. 2-inch range, goes to Ren 3, damage 3 on the charge. Just flat out amazing.
Yep, real good.
Lotan, everyone's loving the Lotan. He has his own holy within 12 inches. You can pick a unit to be affected by a ritual in addition to any other type. So
yes.
if he's your only one, and say you picked the low tide one because you wanted the not just cover but can only be shot within 12, but then they rush your brick of 30 thralls, and then you're like, oh, by the way, you also have the 5-up ward for this turn.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Lotan can do. He also has one to wound rolls for attacks made with friendly Deepkin units wholly within 12.
So he's pretty darn good. There's a reason he's out of stock.
Yeah.
So I hate to say there's something in here that's an auto include, but he's
pretty darn close.
Certainly worth looking at.
He's pretty darn close.
Yep. He is keyword locked to Iron Rack though. Ion Rack.
Yeah. He is.
So luckily you can't take him around in any of the others.
I think you can, can't you? It's 115 points.
Mm-hmm.
115 points for that guy.
Yep.
That's it. All Isharon have a 5-up ward. So Soul Render, Soul Scryer, Tidecaster, Lotan, you're all chilling. Oh, I think, is he? No, Elethaniel Faded is not. He's the one with the crab. They're not terribly good.
Unfortunately.
Eels are good. If you want a really solid breakdown of the mathematics, go back and watch Vince's episode with Konstantinos. Also, just to hear his rant about how we've had vampirates this entire time. Because that's what Idoneth are.
Vampirates. Oh, God.
Right? We've had vampirates the entire time. They were always there. You just needed to embrace them. Alapexes are strong. I mean, the math-wise, right? Namarti Thrall's damage is out of this world, like compared to everything else. Overall, eels will tend to do slightly more damage than sharks do. And then overall, Leviathan is probably only take 1. I'm going to be honest. Like if you're playing a fun list, you can take 3 of them, but I don't see a world in where 3 are going to get you very far other than like, I'm having fun with turtles.
Yeah, that's, I'm not sure they're worth their 500 points. So
here's where I could see taking them is a Namarti party list because of their projection of the Void Drum.
Yeah.
Add 1 to save rolls. The target friendly Deepkin units that have wound characteristic of 8 or less that are wholly within 12 inches. And add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Namarti units that target enemy unit wholly within 12 inches of any friendly Leviathans. So that's where Leviathan comes in, is sort of like backs up your thralls.
Yeah.
Plus, your thralls are going to be in front of it most of the time, so it can't be shot to death.
Yep.
So you just have waves of bodies at 130 points for 10 thralls, which you can double reinforce. Probably only once. I think you take them in groups,
Just
packs of 20.
Yeah, pack of 20, and you'll have plenty of protection with the strung out. Yeah. And you know, you want to have a monster out there. You want to have something. Most people want to play with a big toy.
Yeah.
So
the last thing I want to cover is the shipwreck, because it does matter. We've been talking about it. Let's just make sure we all read it, because there's probably some wombo combos you can think of.
oh boy.
It's faction terrain. It can be set up in 1 or 2 pieces. If it's set up in 2 pieces, they need to be within 3 inches of each other. So no splitting it across the board. Instead, you just have to summon more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're playing Path to Glory, you literally rain.
You rain them down.
You rain
Yeah.
shipwrecks
And you
down.
watch the Beast Claw Raider guy or the giant player go, well, you're stupid.
I don't like you
Yeah.
anymore.
At all.
Yeah. So it is defensible. If it's 1 piece, you can set up 5 Idnet Deepkin models with wound characteristic of 5 or less. If it's a large piece, which is the double,
Yeah.
you can set up 10. And
Makes
then
sense.
Idnet Deepkin units that do not have a mount have a ward of 5+ while they're wholly within 6 inches of this terrain.
Oh, well, thank you.
Right? So, hey, I'm rushing up my thralls. I'm dropping a shipwreck behind them. They have a ward save no matter what. And then your fringe thrall groups are, you know, coming in with your Soul Scryer, and, you know, you affect them with Flood Tide, you know, ritual that one.
I kind of
So-
like terrain like that has an actual tangible but simplistic benefit. You know, this isn't something that you have to really work at. It's just like, oh, within 12, bam.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like it a lot. Again, it hits the flexibility of this book.
Yeah.
And I don't think we want to cover the units because honestly, they haven't changed all that much.
Not too much.
But also they do what the box says they do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can kind of look at these units and go, cavalry, infantry, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the Mathlands, the two, I think there's less of a division between the two now. Now they're both viable to take, whereas that wasn't always the case. So yeah, you can play anything in this book and kind of tailor it with the rituals and with playing with the tides. You can really have a great game. And if this isn't unless you're really good, this isn't an army you're going to play one time and go, I got it. It's unlocked.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to try it a few times and look at how to play with the rituals and the turns and your battle tactics. But still, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the IDK players out there are looking at this book going, it's not a game changer. I mean, it is a game changer, but it's not a super, oh my God, this just changes everything. It's more along the lines of it reinforced everything we did and made it more fun.
Mm-hmm.
But we also have to put a little bit more work into it.
Yeah.
It's not just buy eels, use eels, charge with eels, and you're done. Mm-hmm. So I like it.
It feels like everything has value in this, and sort of like the description, like it brought everything closer to the middle, because you had some like things that were real bad and some things that were real good.
Yeah.
And it sort of like shrunk them a little bit. Like the king was always great as a support piece. Now it can actually like get in the scrap, you know, and do some real work.
Well, and that's the thing is the king is the leader that you needed.
Yep.
Maybe the one you wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's, you know, depending on how you kit him out with enhancements, you can make him really survivable or just a Vegematic.
Yeah.
So.
Or just the ultimate buff piece, you know, if you're doing Namarti Party, which has 12 inches of battle shock immunity.
Hello.
You know, just floating up alongside the Leviathan is a bunch of thralls, 2-inch reach, and chop everything down. And just to mention it, the thralls, if you don't know what they do, they have base 3 attacks each. The leader has an additional attack. And then if you go up against a unit with only 1 wound, you get an additional attack.
Right.
If you go up against a unit with 3 or more wounds, you go to 2 damage, right? So it's a monster, it's a hero, it doesn't matter. You're doing 2 damage each on, you know, what you're throwing 21 dice.
Yeah.
No, it's 2 attacks each, isn't it?
It's 2.
Yeah, 2 attacks each plus 1. And then, so you do 21 dice. Is that really it? I thought it was 3 attacks each. But anyway.
You can get up to 3 attacks.
And then you've got ways to buff it, +1 to hit, right? And +1 to wound. So you're usually on 2s and 2s, rend 1. Like, they're just ridiculous.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
That's what I was thinking. If you have the Volturnos near him, that's what it was. And Volturnos did lose his weird -5 rend thing he did, but he's still not affected by spells on a 3-up. So
very nice. Yeah, super handy. Again, it's your old army will still work.
Yep,
probably pretty well. But if you're just getting into it, you can buy anything in the army range and probably have a lot of fun.
Yeah, try your eels. Try your Namarti party, try Shark Week, whatever it is you want to do, you got it.
I think Sharks is going to be, that Shark Enclave is strong. Mm-hmm. And I mean, but again, all of them are. So you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
So I say huzzah for IDK. I definitely will give that book like B+, A-. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing outwardly wrong with it. Mm-hmm. As you say, there's a couple things that need to be clarified in the FAQ coming up. Mm-hmm. Did you really mean for this to go off multiple times? Okay, if you did, fine. It's not that devastating, but the wording could be clear in a couple of places. But overall, it's a super good book. And honestly, the lore section where they talk about and they kind of talk about the changes since the Broken Realm stuff, it's really starting to tie the story in and how what we're going to see going forward, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
I like it. Good book.
I think it's solid. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you all really like to dive into it. We may have some random thoughts during After Dark. So make sure to tune in for that. We'll, as we said, sort of at the top of the show, we're not doing Fire Slayers today.
Nope.
We may have some wistful thoughts
Yes.
during After Dark, but we'll be much more ready to hit them hard. And believe you me, we're probably going to lean heavy into the Path to Glory aspect of it.
Oh, yeah. Because good stuff. But thanks for sticking with us, and we'll talk to you next time.
And if you're a Patreon, we'll see you After Dark.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us at our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at rolling_bad. Our individual Twitters are, for me, at Bill Castello, BILLCASTELLO. And for Josh, you can reach him at Anoyo, ANOYOE. All the guests on the show will have their contact information in that show's show notes. The music in the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and is used under the Creative Commons license. The Rolling Bad podcast itself is protected under the Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. Information for this license can be found at creativecommons.org.